That's my favorite.
And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of Dicecream Sandwich, which I still can't believe that we've been streaming for 18 sessions. 18 sessions. We've grown.
We didn't stream the first ones, did we?
I think we did.
Yeah,
we started, like, Minicam was the first way we had it set up.
Yeah.
But we went from, like, our super old school layout of, like, DM mic and 2 cell phone cameras pointed to the screen.
Yeah.
And then now we're actually...
Yeah,
now we've really picked it up. We've got
Now
our
we're
snowball,
extra
we've got
legit.
this, we've
Yeah,
got all the
we start
cameras,
off
we've got
legit,
our
got
graphics.
more legit.
Yeah. So we have actually some really cool stuff this week. First off, Kev, who are we shouting out again?
Oh, it was our potential sponsor, but we haven't gotten their things yet.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
In that case, we're waiting.
You know
what we're good for.
But they're
Everyone
Dungeons
has
of Doom, Dungeons of Doom on Instagram. They sell tons of awesome nerdy D&D stuff. We're gonna do some giveaways with them soon. But yeah, it'll probably be in the next week or two.
We should even shout out something else so they can see the quality of our shouting outs.
Ooh!
Look right.
Check out
Right, we enjoy you.
So refreshing and fizzy. We love
Let's-
it. Every week.
So sponsor us.
Cheers.
Well, didn't we like give up the sponsor from Noob?
Refreshing.
We didn't give it up. It just kind of like stopped. It was happening.
Stopped happening.
Yeah. Dude Vodka Soda was giving us free news for a while, and then it stopped.
Yeah, we didn't get
Well,
news for 10,
Yeah,
so
we didn't get on with that.
You send news.
If you want to get us nude, send us nudes.
we may or may not send them in
I
return.
guarantee you that D&D sex work is something that definitely already is clinging. But could use more, probably.
I just want to do my own little quick shout out here because I've been, as a DM, one of my freaking banes of my existence is minis. Like, we all know it sucks.
Are you shouting out yourself?
Yeah.
No. I'm shouting out the person who sent me this and the person who I ended up getting the idea from. So, essentially, minis are awesome. They're super expensive. They're really difficult to carry around, and you have to sort through a whole bunch of them, and it's really ugly. So I want to shout out, first off, my buddy Jamie Blair, because you sent me this link to this YouTube video that showed me that I could do this, and it made me frickin' happy as all hell. And then secondly, massive one to Questing Beast on YouTube for putting out this video, where you take little wooden discs that look kind of like this, and then you cut out magic cards and you put them on the back, and you make awesome things like giant fire giants, and awesome things like earth elementals,
Ooh.
and
I'm a horse.
and
Yes.
and
Very
hopes.
horsey.
Some
Fire giant in your mouth?
absolutely
I don't really want to do that. I recommend
and
against
you
that.
have a fire giant in your mouth. Thank you. Amen.
It smells like real wood.
But yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to those guys because like this is actually a really cool thing to do as a DM if you're having a problem, like if you don't have a ton of money or you don't want to carry around a bunch of minis. I've got over 100 minis in like a phone box just from an iPhone, and it's everything from like vampires and guards and everything. And the total cost for all this was under $100 Canadian, and I can still make over 200 more minis. So it's a massive, massive thing. Questing Beast, thank you so much for that. That's been awesome and saved my life for it. Our second thing is we have a bit of a surprise for the table.
Ooh, yeah.
And by we, I mean just Strahd.
Yeah, what's up? So, been having some fun. Been doing a little pulling some late nights. Making sure everyone, making sure our stream stays cool and animated. So, got a little intro. Prepped up. I don't know. You want to run that? Is that? Something
Yeah, we can do that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna time this out.
Yeah.
So that you guys can all see.
Yeah. No one's seen it. So
No one has seen it.
there's
I'm
Jordan-
the only person who's
Jordan's
seen
seen
it.
it. So
I had to set it up and queue it up with our OBS, so I've got this set up so you guys. I'm hoping the audio comes through okay. I don't have it open on my phone, so hopefully we can all see it at the same time. But yeah, this is an awesome surprise for the whole table. And Jesse, thank you so much for this. Everyone, please.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Still.
please enjoy.
Oh boy.
Okay.
good, dude.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on. Hope everyone enjoyed it. I mean, I know some people
Yes.
seen it, but
I absolutely love
no,
it.
God.
That's
And I figured I should get it done sooner rather than later in case anyone dies. So I got to that point where I was like, shit, I should probably get this done because I've been sitting on it for like 8 months or 3-4 months.
And on that subject,
No!
The Tribunal strikes, you all die.
no, I am actually so glad. Like that was huge when you sent me that, and then you'd uploaded a Vimeo, and I was like, download this. I'm like, is this easy? Oh yeah, I can throw this right in OBS. Oh my god, we can do all this.
That's
So,
awesome.
That was super cool. So yeah, thank you, Jesse, for that. That was amazing.
Yeah,
That's
you were so
legit.
like subtle about it earlier when Kevin was like,
Oh
"Have
yeah,
you
you've
been
been up
doing
to
any-"
any animation. I'm like, nope.
Yeah!
Yeah,
Haven't been doing anything.
yeah. What have you been up to these past weekends?
It's super busy, super
Nothing.
busy. Dumping up, burning the midnight oil,
Yeah.
animating stuff.
Jesse guys like, let's do myself animated.
No, that was dope. That was
No, I'm just saying that it's like not your first time being animated.
animated.
Yeah, we got this.
All right. So
You got Sora in
since
here.
we officially have an opening
Oh yeah, we got
video.
Oh yeah, and I'll
We
post
get
up
to-
the artist who did all that.
Oh yeah,
I
it
did-
was you.
Yeah, no, sorry, the music.
Oh.
Yeah, French
Oh.
artist. I'll show them out.
That's
Awesome.
right. The music was super
Perfect.
cute.
Send me
Yeah.
that file and I'll put it up on all the
That
channels.
was
So it's
pretty
super
quiet.
dope.
Alrighty. So what do you say we run it one more time and then we get into
Oh,
tonight's
Jesus.
episode?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I want to see
Oh
it
my
again.
God.
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
Again.
All right, we're gonna play it one more time for you guys,
I'm
and then we're
sorry,
gonna dive
Dad.
straight into tonight's episode.
Don't tune.
Here we go.
Love that I have one by side.
I'll just give them the
Character
thing.
everywhere.
It's very Les Paul, so.
It is very less
It is
Yeah,
very
I
less
put
fault.
Mike Truck in there. So.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike Truck has to be in everything.
I'm sorry, I couldn't animate Rick.
That's okay.
It's fucking
Yeah, Rick's usually.
But it's alright,
Yeah.
don't worry. We'll have like
We'll get him
our
there.
ally/Steed edition.
Yeah.
So like my wall plus with Rick
I
riding.
can't fucking animate horse legs. Those things don't make sense.
Yeah, I'm imagining Rick just like sitting on like my horse's back and just like farting and giggling.
I know.
That sounds about right.
In my
Yeah,
head,
also, I'm totally gonna take over and be like, I'm struggling to think of names for my steed.
Cinnamon.
Does any
I
suggestions?
like beautiful Bruce, but
So yeah, but also I think this is open to the table as well because I struggle with decisions.
What color is your horse?
Nightshade.
That's also
It's up to you.
Jonathan.
So this is, yeah, this can be
Jonathan the
something
horse.
we ask the community, we ask
Yeah.
any of your friends, anyone at the table. We can decide
yeah.
about.
Well, exactly. Like I would appreciate any and all input because I also had not thought about the color of my horse. I think I was just more like I have a war horse
get on the character.
and didn't think of anything else.
What color goes well with host coloring?
Yeah, I just kind of basically put like my. No, I'm not gonna say
The
that.
Gandalf steed.
Yeah, on the table.
Shadowfax.
Oh, I love Shadowfax.
Carfax, can't wait.
In my other
Carfax.
campaign, I
There we go.
lived all my
Carfax.
horse girl fantasies, and I was like, he's like a shining with the center, and like so smart, and we're best friends.
I do kind of
so-
picture like either it would either probably be like a midnight black kind of horse
Yeah.
or
Yeah, we-
white. We are
Jesus.
sorry.
Oh, geez, we got to get this going.
We are. We're just discussing game related
I'm
matters.
probably tuned in if I
Like cinnamon or horse.
Yeah.
Alright.
Cinnamon
Alright,
is a
alright,
decent
so I'm
suggestion.
gonna take
I
things
will
over
note
from
it
here.
down.
Alright,
Nutmeg.
yay,
So-
party.
Diving into tonight's episode of Dicecream Sandwich, we have our intrepid adventurers who, upon spending about 5 days in the village of Vallaki, had managed to burn down a house, save a
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
save a set of bones, a set of sacred bones, and return them to the church. Assist in, I guess, not interfering with the festival in some way.
We didn't fuck it up!
You didn't.
Good for us.
Yeah,
And-
we were good participants.
Mixed for good
You did.
TV.
And at the beginning of our last session, managed to survive and potentially thrive in an encounter with Lady Fiona Wachter,
Yeah.
local
Dun, dun, dun.
noble resident who apparently had plans to oust the burgomaster, the local head of the village. After that, you took the rest of the night, discussed some options as to what you would do, decided to go to the burgomaster's mansion the following day, whereupon you knew that there would be a tribunal held for you for the actions that you had allegedly committed. Confronting Isaac Strahd, the right-hand man of the burgomaster, telling him that you had not received any message, but upon finding this out, he was genuinely surprised and immediately set to work trying to amend this and make it so that you were kept up to date with any information. You were given the details early afternoon that your tribunal was going to be held that same evening in the same area that you had come and seen him in the morning, the training grounds behind the burgomaster's mansion. So we picked things up early afternoon with the group downstairs in the Blue Water Inn, partaking in a late bite of lunch and trying to decide what they should do with the next few hours before going to their tribunal. So, what would you like to do?
I'm good defense.
Yeah, I'm good. Is there anything you want to do? I was just gonna, kind of freshen myself up.
Take a nap, grab some
Yeah.
spells.
Just want a short rest or something.
I'm ready to face the music, as they say.
I think we've discussed all the things that that will show to benefit our side, our case.
I agree. I mean, Isaac doesn't seem like he's actually stacked against us. So the burgomaster, maybe he's more of an unknown quantity, but this actually doesn't seem as bad as we had all feared, and perhaps it's just because we didn't receive any information, but I don't actually think it's very likely that they'll punish us. I think perhaps the more likely outcome is that they might actually rule against us in order to get us, get use of us in their military, but
Yes, I agree. Although I did, as much as I'm reluctant to bring it up, have we sent them a message to Lady
Not
Grandma?
as of yet.
Because I think we should probably do that sooner than later. Because I don't want another enemy in town.
I think that
Potential enemy.
she requested that we send word to her in the morning, and that has passed.
She might already be pissed, but see
well,
what you want.
we are facing down a tribunal. I'm sure she'll understand if we make our apologies.
She does also have a stone, can communicate with us, and we haven't heard words that way.
That's true.
So we might be in the clear for now.
I think that we should continue on with potentially using her as an ally, even if we don't intend to follow through on a task that she set us. We'll see how things play out at the tribunal. Perhaps we can find use in playing both sides against the middle.
We have no allegiances in this
Agreed.
awful, stupid garbage land.
We have to use whatever advantages we can.
Whatever gets us out of here quicker.
Exactamente.
And let's not forget that we think that perhaps we may need access to her house to find her daughter.
Before we continue on with this whole business, have we talked about what we're going to do if it goes sideways?
Tribunal, you mean?
Yes.
Start punching.
Are we just gonna, like the doctor said, punch our way out,
I
make
think.
a beeline for the exit, and just move on out of here?
I mean,
They
I
have said we could voluntary exile at any time. I don't think that punishment will result in death. As much as they said there could be a physical punishment.
Isaac implied that that would be unlikely if we could be of use to the town.
It's true, but I'm just saying, prepare for the worst,
If
even though it's
shit
going
goes
to
sideways, let's get ready to open some portals to hell dimensions.
Well,
that seems a touch extreme.
we do have 6 pastries that will take us where we want to go.
Oh, that's true.
I think we should distribute them amongst ourselves before the tribunal. And in the very worst case scenario that we're lined up against the wall, we can take a bite and try to go to find Vertavio at the tower.
I don't think they work in
that's
that
how it
way.
works. I
You don't
think
think
that
so?
it takes you where you want to go, as in like
Yeah, I
in
think
your
those
mind
just-
state.
Those just get
Do
us
you think so?
going.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Those just
that
like
it
it
gets
good,
you like
know?
it's happy in your own
I'll
head.
be
I
honest,
don't think it physically takes you somewhere.
I ate a
I'm
mushroom.
not
once.
sure.
We saw the parents
That's true.
in the windmill that
We
were
saw some people
drooling,
who were
almost as if they were
Having a great
very
time.
happy, having a great time in their own minds.
I had assumed that they were some form of magical transportation, but you might be right.
I mean, they are magical.
I
Yeah,
wish.
they do
I would
transform
also be
somewhere.
wary of anything the night hags ever since
I agree.
Those are
my
those
curse,
are bad.
in case you'd forgotten.
No,
Alright,
none of us have
We
forgotten.
had not forgotten.
Quick question.
Yes.
If we're gonna leave, if we do leave at some point, where are we going next? We're gonna go to Rotavio.
I think we hit the
Bastoni?
those guys.
There was some-
They were the only people in this whole land that we know of that go in and out of this dimension. That could be very useful.
They're also
to have
cool
as an
with
ally.
us.
That's true.
That's
They-
true.
And they
And
probably know the lay of the land.
And they've been able to sneak in and out of the city,
Yes.
even though they are not allowed here.
And given Vallaki's attitude against them, they won't care should we have been punished by
Yeah,
Vallaki.
they don't like them anyway.
We need to.
We'll fit in
I
just
think
nicely
that will
with
be
them.
an excellent first step, and then we've got lots of places to go from there. But
Uh,
I think
Yes,
stopping
there
at
is
the,
also
the
still
step.
the abbey.
The Abbey of St.
Yeah.
Berkovia,
Yeah.
yes.
And then if
But I
we
think
need
first step is
if
definitely
the exits get, again, this is just if shit goes
Hypotheticals, we
sideways.
understand, Les.
Hypothetical.
Yes.
If the exits get blocked, we should go to that little gift store of that man that houses all of those nice little trinkets. Take that goddamn carpet and just fly on it.
Open up the hell dimension on him, no big deal. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think he's more than prepared for anyone trying to steal his wares.
His whole
Dude,
He
don't
has so much
try and I like
defensive.
it.
All
Yeah,
about.
I'm in.
But we
if
could
we
try.
just rush him, how quick could he be?
Well, or if it all goes to shit, we can use the stone to say to Lady Fiona that we need a safe house.
Hey, now's the time. We're gonna murder this dude. Time to get maybe send some friends with stabbings.
Well, I don't think she would send
I don't
allies
think,
outright.
No,
But she could
and
perhaps
I,
give us
I
access
don't
to
think
the
she
house.
would give us access to the safe house until it was confirmed that the deed was done. But I don't know how we'd send evidence of that.
No, I think
It's an option.
she employed
There's no
that
way to know,
she'd
right?
give us a home base if things got uncomfortable for us to work from. I think as long as we said outright, we will do this thing for you.
All right.
Anyways, seems like.
But yes, if shit goes south, pew pew pew, blam blam blam. Those are guard dogs.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Doctor, will you send
awkwardly cracks
Rick
knuckles.
to talk to the lady?
Mm-hmm. Sending a note, meow.
Yeah.
It's my medieval phone.
Yeah.
Ye old parchment.
Right.
What kind of warlock device is that, Doctor?
We're not
Also,
gonna. we're
is
gonna
it
work
just
this
my
bit out right now.
imagination, or are you deliberately saying meow instead of now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Doctor imagination.
Yeah.
Some sort of super troopers.
Because the first time it happened, I was like, no one else seems to have caught it.
I caught it, but I was just enjoying it, so I let it go on without
I
comment.
haven't wanted to say anything.
Are we ready to chill for?
We ready to take a little rest?
Do the old Witcher just like kneel down for 4 hours?
We're gonna have to do it an hour later.
I'm gonna get into my warrior main state of thinking.
The old Assassin's Creed, you just stare up at the sky and change day to night. Alrighty, so resting in the Blue Water Inn. We'll consider this a short rest if anybody has used anything, which I don't think anyone has. So
I've used a spell, but I don't think I'll regain the spell
you
in a
don't,
short
long
rest.
Yeah. Alright, so as the sun begins to set, 2 guards approach the Blue Water Inn, rapping on the door and bringing all of you out into the evening light. They eventually make your way south, behind the Burgomaster's mansion, where you see a stark difference from the training grounds that were in place but a few hours ago. The archers' targets have been replaced with 3 rather ornate wooden chairs, each currently empty. Opposite the chairs on the left are a series of long wooden benches, and you notice the familiar faces of Irina, Ismark, Father Petrovich, Schmidt, and Aaron among the seated townsfolk. In addition to them is another guard sitting substantially further away from the rest. None of you recognize who this person is.
Message sent.
Between the benches and chairs to the right side, about 10 wooden tree trunks have been formed into rough stools, and in the center of the ring, a single plain wooden chair rests vacant. On the wall, roughly 100 feet to the south, are several archers looking down on the grounds, bows at the ready, arrows knocked, but not drawn. And surrounding this gathering on all sides are guards, stationed about 15 feet apart, spears at the ready, forming a ring of a dozen or so roughly armored people, each holding torches to provide bright light to the center of the ring. The guards who escorted you in gesture towards the wooden stools.
We approach the stools.
All right.
Are they all the same size, the stools?
There.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Get like half
For
an
most
ass
of you,
cheek in
it's
there.
it's a little bit of a slight hop up. Your feet do touch the ground just barely. For you, your knees are kind of up to your chest.
Yeah.
So basically, in the middle of a circle, all in chairs, surrounded by all sides.
No.
No.
3 chairs, benches, stools, single chair right in the center.
Ooh, that's the hot seat.
Well, they're still for us. They're butt plugs for leave.
Oh. Can't work it down.
They're about as thick as Leaf's torso, so
What can I say?
you loose, boy.
I'm out of practice
Maybe
already.
just flip it over.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you like use a reverse like toadstool or
It's
something?
1 seat or 4 seats.
You gotta have a third base, you know?
Exactly, you don't want to get lost up there.
Oh,
So, about 10 minutes pass as you sit, everybody staying silent, seated on the benches. And
Is that
Yeah.
chairs? Okay.
How does it look?
think of
like?
it like triangle.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
Yeah.
Triangle?
It's like triangle with a chair in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Three
Thank you.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Equilateral triangle. There you go.
You got it.
Perfect. Alrighty. About 10 minutes pass until you hear the clanking of metal and creaking of doors as the back entrance to the Burgomaster's mansion thuds open, revealing another pair of guards flanking the Burgomaster, Baron Vargas Vallaki. Isaac Strahd on his right, as always, and an unfamiliar face of a young man none of you have seen before on his left. Late teens, possibly early 20s, he's dressed very similarly to the Baron and seems to be almost copying his mannerisms as the group walks forward. His hair hanging long, blonde, and slicked back down his neck, and his skin almost porcelain white across his face.
Sounds like an incel. Sorry.
Sounds like what?
An incel?
Is he
Oh.
wearing a fedora? Can I make perception?
He
see
is
if he's
not wearing a fedora.
His collar popped.
His collar.
He takes a red pill as his
No!
The guards escorting them, in stark comparison to the rest of the roughly outfitted individuals you've seen around the village, are both adorned with sets of shining, full-plate armor. Each has a long sword hung at their waist, with a tall shield strapped to their backs. Walking slowly between them, behind the Baron and Isaac, is the familiar face of Henrik Vandervoort, shoulders hunched and dressed in a simple gray tunic and leather pants, his gray hair fairly unkempt, but still clearly brushed in expectation of today. The Baron, comparatively, has on a flouncy white shirt hoofing out of his sleeve and collar from under a long crimson robe. His thinning hair combed to carefully avoid any bald spots from showing, and a stoic smile spread across his face. In contrast to the Baron, Isaac is adorned in his usual black leather pants and tunic, identical to what you saw him wearing earlier in the day. Expressionless as always, with his hands placed behind his back and a set of daggers strapped to his waist. The trio make their way to the 3 chairs as one of the guards breaks Henrik off and seats him on the benches as far away from your group as possible. Eventually, the Baron sits in the middle of the 3 chairs, Isaac on his right and the young man on his left, and the 2 guards take up positions on each end of the row of chairs. Now then, shall we begin? Isaac rises from his chair and produces a rolled piece of parchment. My lord, we have been brought here today to decide the fate of this band of adventurers who entered our city not but 5 days ago. They stand accused of assault, attacking the coffin maker, Henrik Vandervoort, theft, stealing from his home, destruction of property, burning his house to ash, and threatening the citizens of Vallaki. This tribunal shall decide the legitimacy of these charges, as well as any punishments to be carried out against these individuals. Accused, do you accept these charges, with the understanding you will have your turn to speak regarding them?
We do not.
You do not.
It's time to talk.
The accuracy of the accusations, we don't agree with. And we accept that we will have our time to speak. But we do not accept those accusations.
Very well.
We're not guilty.
Yeah.
We shall proceed. Isaac sits and the Baron waves a hand towards the benches. Henrik, approach and recount. Henrik stands, eyeing your group as he walks around the outside of the benches to the chair in the center of the ring and sits down.
My lord, on that fateful afternoon 5 days ago, this heinous group of people broke into my home and business, assaulted me in my workspace, restraining me as they stole my personal property from my bedchamber. Gold, silver, jewelry from my poor dead wife. After their thievery, they left the building and burned it to the ground, with me tied up inside. Had I not escaped their bonds and fled to alert the gods, I know I would not be here today. And this band of thugs would be walking freely amongst our town, repeating these terrible actions against the rest of the townsfolk. I plead for the harshest punishment for all of them, so they may never have a chance to repeat these crimes against another innocent person. As proof, I provide my wrists, burned and scarred from the rope that they used to tie me, and from which I managed to escape.
And he stands and makes his way towards the Baron, presenting his wrists, which you see are very badly torn and cut, rope burns. None of you having seen this from when he did manage to escape.
Sounds like a bad Tuesday, bro.
Should have used a safe word.
Very well. This tribunal has heard your account, and we thank you for it. Please return. Henrik stands and makes his way back to the benches, carefully eyeing the doctor as he does. You, group, do you have a name?
Like, individually?
No, all of you.
Heroes.
I'm just gonna
Like
say I don't back up
share.
that, but
No.
No, okay, okay, sorry.
we never really discussed having a group name. We're not really a troubling band or anything like that.
We haven't been together very long.
We're not like famed bard Giles Montgomery and his backup band.
Very well. Present you the one who will answer these charges and provide your statement for these events.
I will speak.
Station was so.
Oh,
Oh my
I
god,
wasn't
that
actually
was
even there
great.
for that, so I can't talk
Oh,
about
that
it.
was great.
Oh, I remember.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
in the, I'm
He is
passing
in-
my
I'm
lot
going
anyway. I was in
live on this one.
the inn while this was all happening.
So,
We crossed.
one of the guards gestures for you to sit in the seat,
Hmm?
making your way to the center and sitting down. You stare down the three men sitting across from you.
My lord, we arrived in this town 5 days ago and spoke to Father Petrovich. Donovich was the guy.
It is
Petrovich, thank you. Father Petrovich at the church. He had told us that the bones of St. Andrew had been stolen from the church before we'd arrived. He asked us if we might do the church and do the town a service in finding the bones and returning them to the church. Through our investigations, we discovered that the bones had been removed from the church on order of the defendant. We went to his home, knocked on the door. No response. One of our party, admittedly, was a little zealous in entering. Upon entrance into the home, we spoke to the defendant. The defendant identified that the bones were upstairs in his home. We went upstairs, and what we found was not for the faint of heart. Our party was beset upon by vampire spawn.
And at this, you see all of their eyes go wide. Perception check from you.
Which one of y'all is smart?
Oh, yes. 24.
Dang, homie.
Okay.
Who said vampires?
Oh my god.
Okay, which one of all y'all was fucked up by the vampires?
It was either me or
I
Wes.
discovered it first.
Okay, so
You
what
got
are you?
You
Yeah,
got.
I got bit.
Okay, good, you're good.
Like,
So you're going.
yeah, bit.
I didn't
Yeah.
get attacked by them.
Okay, well I'm
No,
presenting
you
you as
did.
evidence.
Yes, absolutely. I will
Also, you're
evidence
human. That's a problem.
myself.
Yeah.
Myself.
Although it's started to fade now, hasn't it? Because they
I'm
fucking
sorry. If my
porno.
spawn bite has, if his like hands haven't been
I've
taken.
been curious.
And plus,
That's what I mean. Like,
Well, you can't see him.
okay.
As evidence of this, I would like to present my associate, Ms. Laura Vallaki, if you would allow her to approach and show you her wounds from the attack.
Wounds.
Yes. She was attacked by the vampire spawn in the home. In addition, I apologize, Father Petrovich as well can speak to the veracity of this as he saw to us shortly after.
Father Petrovich has said that he will be coming in your defense. You'll allow him to speak shortly.
Thank you.
These wounds, may I see them?
I would slowly walk up and bow before, and then approach and show my neck, which would have had the light
Yep.
here.
Okay. He just kind of stares at it and just, without really a care for if it would actually cause pain, just kind of like splits the skin open to look at the actual bite
No
marks.
wins.
Okay.
No wins.
Yeah.
0 wins.
And just kind of splits the skin to view and see the puncture marks going down your neck, and then just kind of like gets
Almost fucked
fairly
up.
close, and then summons Isaac over and kind of almost like delayed reaction, turns to his left and also to the young man sitting on his left, as the three men view the wounds and then kind of look back up at you. Thank you. You may leave.
As they're looking at my wound, can I do a kind of like, do I see anything weird about the sun?
About the sun?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm just like,
Define
I'm
weird.
kind of like, is he
oh,
like,
some fucking thing.
is he kind of acting weird? Is he like, how does he feel about being here?
Okay. I'll let you make an insight check.
Oh my god!
Enjoying it!
Whispers again, guys!
Actually, wait, hang on. What's your modifier on that? Because you might actually be able to beat it.
Guys, we're still a big bad.
Oh my god.
Trump Jr.
Oh, my insight check is a nothing.
That's a 26.
Oh.
Wow, I didn't even. Wow. That was.
Fuck this kid.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Natural 20, and I realized, oh, that's an insight check. That is contested.
Playing with all of our feelings right
So,
now.
Our emotions are already high, bro.
it is very tough to read. He is looking at your wounds. You are kind of catching side glances as best you can. You're not wincing from the pain, but there's definitely some stretching on the skin of like kind of pushing your head to the side. And you don't quite get the read on him that you thought you might be able to. So, thank you, my dear. You may return back to your seat. You may continue.
Thank you. In the melee, we were attacked by the vampire spawn. 3 of them.
3 of them.
3. We escaped. We managed to get out of the top floor of the house. We do not know what caused the fire. Perhaps one of the spawn knocked a loose candle over or something. But we were out and we were gone by the time the house was up.
Make a deception check.
Hmm. 26.
26.
Yeah!
It's a hell of a case.
This is the night to roll high!
Oh my god.
Alright.
And he just looks at you and just kind of looks over at Henrik a little bit, and you see his eyes just narrow slightly in slight anger. And then back at you. Very well. So you left before the house was in flames?
Correct.
Why did you not report this to the gods?
We thought it was more important to get the bones of St. Andrew back to the church first.
I understand. Father Petrovich did come to me and explain that this was a service that you did provide to him. You will have his chance to speak today. Is there anything else?
Yeah, go for it, because I think
Why the hell not? We're here. No, I don't think we have anything else. We're good, right?
Maybe ask if you can.
give a general defense to our character.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose.
Well, coaching.
That's a good idea. Thank you. Rick's talking to Hope.
Oh yeah, that's I'm allowing that. I knew that he would be able to talk to them specifically. That's why I'm allowing that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Your Honor, as this is new to us, we are, as you said, but visitors in your town, would this be the time at which we speak to our general defense as well, or only to answer the charges as presented?
This is answering the charges as presented. Your character shall be determined by the people around you.
Understood.
If there is nothing else,
No further.
thank you, and you may return.
You're very good at that. You're welcome.
Making your way back. You do see them go into a little bit of a huddled discussion, kind of leaning over and very quietly whispering to each other. Mostly it seems to be between Isaac and the burgomaster, but the young man is being included in some of these conversations as well. Seemingly kind of leaning especially far over, like the two of them are leaning towards each other and they understand that they're talking to each other. He's kind of leaning over the chair to be a part of it. Ismark, Irina, as the two who have known them the longest and who claim to have had this group provide safe passage from the village of Barovia to our walls, I have heard your statement of the trials that you faced with them on the road, and your words will be taken into account. I knew your father from when I was much younger, and we lived in Vallaki, as we in Vallaki are aware of the plight that the devil has forced upon your village. So being able to escape and make it safely to our walls is no simple task. Ismark and Irina both nod at the Baron, then smile at your group, and Irina gives you kind of a subtle thumbs up.
Can I kind of look a little sad at that?
Sure.
I don't know what else to
You
say,
look
but
sad.
I'm just a little bit like,
She doesn't seem to notice.
that heartbreaker. Yeah,
In defense of the group, Father Petrovich, please come forward. The father leans heavily on his cane as he makes his way to the single seat, eventually sitting down.
Just trying to get.
My lord, this pious group of individuals found their way to the church not long after they entered our walls, as they said, and upon seeing two people of the cloth among them,
Gesturing at Leaf and Hope.
And just like nodding.
I told them of the tragic theft of sacred bones of our St. Andrew in hopes that they may be able to track them down, either inside our walls or where we dare not venture out. In the evening of that same day, they returned to the church, bones intact and accounted for, and asked for no payment or recompense of any kind. They told me of the encounter at Henrik's house, with the only item they took being the stolen bones, but the details were very different from his claims and much closer to theirs. I even treated several of them for deep bites upon their neck, which they claimed were from vampires of all things.
And at this, the Baron scoffs quite loudly. Even having seen the mites on your neck, hearing one of his own villagers say this, there is a bit of air of disbelief.
Now, I have never seen a vampire's bite before, and hearing that they had made their way inside our walls is a difficult story to believe, knowing the safety that you and your guards provide. But with the description they gave of the fatigue from these bites, as well as our medical journals describing vampire attacks of the past, I began to believe their claims, as they had exterminated at least 2 of the vile creatures hiding in Henrik's home. Further to their defense, after their visit, the ancient prayer grounds outside our walls, they returned with a collection box from the old chapel, full of copper, silver, and gold pieces that they had passed on to the church, selflessly taking none for themselves.
There's a long pause as the Baron evaluates Father Petrovich's statement, eyeing your party and Henrik intensely. Father, you know there is no evidence of vampires within our walls, nor can there be with the safeguards we have put in place. Whatever it is they claimed, I find this claim impossible. But I will take your account of the recovery of the stolen bones and recovered coinage into consideration. Next, you 2 guards who escorted the group inside our walls and outside to the prayer grounds, you claim to have something to add to this tribunal? Stand you for or against a punishment? The father stands up, slowly making his way back on his cane to sitting down as Schmidt approaches the chair and kind of stands leaning up against it.
It's like the end of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
We stand for punishment, my lord. Our statement is a short one, as we've had but 1 day spent in their company when they left our walls to visit the prayer grounds to Paylor, claimed to be in search of something to provide as a gift to the festival. While there, they managed to slay a monstrous tree entity, granted very impressive feat, before making their way into the chapel and with our assistance found their way up to the tower, where a beautiful shield to Paylor stood affixed to one of the walls. We watched as they removed the shield from the wall, placing it inside kind of a magic bag. And then when it came time for the festival, the item, a sacred relic of Paylor from our old prayer grounds, remained in their possession. The Baron turns his eyes to your group and narrows them. You stole a relic of our church. Where's this shield now?
Sorry,
Is anyone like no one's straight up
We
wearing?
brought up the fact that we stole
They
the
just
shield.
called us out for taking the shield.
Are you
Do
wearing
you have
right
it
now?
on, or
You're
is it
attuned to
in
it.
Oh
the...
fuck! You're like it's like right there.
Yeah, I'm attuned to it, so it's like likely.
Is it on you? Are you wearing it?
If I'm wearing my armor, then I would be.
Well, there it is.
You didn't say that you're not, so it's visible. And Schmidt turns and, I'm pretty sure they have it strapped to their backs, sir.
That I do. If you would allow me to speak about why I have it, I would happily give you that answer.
Schmidt, do you have anything else to add? No, my lord, that's everything that we've encountered with them so far. I take my leave. And he makes his way back to the benches, freeing the seat.
Okay. Does that mean I can go forward?
If you'd like.
May I speak of why I have it?
I would hope that you would.
Sorry. It's just
It's like me.
Blindsided.
That was good.
I thought we were friends, Schmidt.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
This shield, yes, it is of Paylor, and I'm not sure if you've heard of many prophecies in this land, but we were told of a prophecy that would help spell the end of Strahd and how we would be able to fight him. We believe that this shield will be a great way of assisting us in that fight. We strongly want to rid him of these lands, and we want to be able to return the towns here to lands of safety and of plenty. We don't want Strahd around, and we only have this shield because we believe it will help us against him.
Make a persuasion check.
Paladins are good at that, right?
You got it. You got
We'll
it.
have to find
There's
out.
that.
You got it.
That's a 4.
No!
After such beautiful roleplay.
Baron don't give a fuck.
Baron's there to examine the facts.
Teleportal's still an option.
This is so good.
Okay. I'm just stressed.
Fuck, I love this.
Irina and Ismark did tell me that this is something that you said you were going to be trying to do. I fail to see how a group of 6 of you would ever be able to take on the devil. Many have come claiming that ability in the past, trying to gain favor from us, take coin from us, gain items to assist them in this impossible task. You will leave the shield.
If you would allow me to respond to
You
that.
will leave the shield.
Would you allow me to speak back to you, please?
Be persuaded check.
This is great. This is so good.
Hey.
It's almost
16?
like we could have gotten out of this.
There was a problem in 6 hours.
Very well. What is it you would like to say?
We do not seek any compensation for getting rid of the devil. We do not seek any further assistance from the people of Vallaki or Barovia. We have escaped Strahd's clutches when we first arrived here in his castle. We have fought the spawn. We are learning, we are getting better, and we want to protect the people. And I think without the shield, I don't believe we'll be able to do our service to these lands.
He turns to Isaac for a moment, and the two share a hushed conversation. And you can see that the young man sitting on the side this time does not lean over to join them. He just stares right at you, stares at that shield on your back.
What kind of expression has he got on his face?
Blank expression.
Blank? Can I... Like, does he...
You
Yeah.
can check his face.
I know, like... Can I? No.
You can if you like.
Fuck it.
Not my poker face.
No.
Not my poker face.
That is 30.
I want to leave that on the table.
Just expressionless, porcelain, perfectly smooth skin.
Can I strike? Is there anything about his skin that I can notice?
But his skin?
Yeah. Is
What
that
is
like
fucking
Pale complexion.
pallid?
At this range, not really.
Okay. I
Yeah,
know it's
you
the
need to
dark.
get
I have
closer.
good dark vision.
I know, it's less so dark vision, it's picking up detail at more than
Dermatology skill.
And some of the same stuff I made for testing was just like,
About a minute and a half passes with the two of them talking, and then eventually Isaac kind of pulls away and the Baron pulls back. This does not sit well in your favor, but we would not have that shield even in our walls had you not found it. For the time being, you are allowed to keep the shield,
Thank you.
but know that this does not sit well in your favor.
Yes, I appreciate this gesture. Once we have defeated Strahd, we will
That
return
is
it.
enough of that. You may leave.
Thank you.
So, Schmidt returns to the benches, eventually sitting down. And then the last man stands and quickly makes his way to the chair. Fairly young man, probably early to mid-20s, short black hair, dressed in a typical guard's outfit, minus any weapons. I'm Alexei, sir, and I've only had an encounter with that one, where he pulled me aside from my patrol duty and threatened my life if I didn't tell him how to escape our lands. Nothing ever came from it. I kept this to myself as best I could for fear of reprisals from him. But once I heard about this attack on Henrik's home, how there's a blue man involved, I knew I had to come forward with what he said to me at this tribunal. The Baron eyes the young guard with a slight pensiveness across his lips. You realize there can be no proof of this, do you, Alexei? This is simply your word against his. Alexei nods and the Baron turns. You, Les Paul, is your name, yes?
That is correct.
Is this true? Did you threaten this man?
You seem like a very proud man, Baron, who likes to employ only the best of men into your guards and armies.
This is a yes or no question. Did you threaten this man?
Did I threaten him? Being new here, being a little afraid, I might have.
Oh boy.
It's so good.
Fantastic. Love it.
Like every rapper's lawyer.
Did you threaten his life?
I don't recall threatening his life. The man just might be a little bit afraid of meeting somebody who's not like the rest of the people who live here, as much most of the people who live here do.
Make a deception check.
Dang.
Contested.
I think you... Did Weldon touch you at any point?
Weldon?
It's his friend whose days don't...
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
I thought you meant half of Mac Weldon.
No.
Who could sponsor?
That's a 5.
It's a 5. That's a 3.
Wow.
He is a straight guard. He has no bonuses to anything. Natural 3.
Dang.
So. You see, at this, the Baron looks almost like just bored.
It's like a sideshow.
Very well. We will take this into account. Alexei, return to your duties. Your statement has been heard. Baron turns to Isaac, leaning in close and whispering to him, then turning to the young man on his left. Again, whispering a little bit longer this time, about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Eventually addressing the group again. Unless there is anything else you would like to add?
Let me think real hard.
Let me refer to things.
Is the
That's true.
burgomaster speaking just to the doctor or to us as
Everyone.
a group?
Everyone's a group.
Yeah.
Is there anything you
Okay.
would like to
You can't
add?
literally, like, take
I-
this long. You have to be
I
Yeah.
would just like to, again, speak to our character as a group. We have tried to, excluding the instance with the, Henrik's business, we have tried to participate in a happy, jolly, excited way in your town. We were very happy to attend the festival and to participate in what was being done in the town here. And besides this one instance, we have had nothing but wonderful interactions with all of the people in this town. So I just want to speak for our character that we did try. We did come back. The guards, we took them to the prayer grounds and returned them unharmed. We haven't tried to just leave. We didn't run away from this tribunal. We don't think that we've done anything wrong. We did face up and own up to what has happened, and that's what I have to say on our behalf.
Not only that, but we'd like to keep contributing to this town. The reason we're here and sitting here on trial, not a place that any of us are comfortable, I'm sure you understand, instead of leaving, is that we think we can all work together, and whatever you may think of our one singular goal, I'm sure you can understand that in general, we're here to face down and protect innocent people from darkness.
Okay. I'll let you make a persuasion check at advantage with the assistance.
Yeah.
It will be a 9.
Okay. Taking your seats again. Baron looks intrigued, but relatively unfazed by the additional statement. And he turns to Isaac, and the young man comes around as the three of them form a small huddle for the better part of 4 or 5 minutes. Small little whispers escaping, nothing that any of you can really pick up on actively. And then the three return to their chairs. There you go.
Oh my god. Can we like I know I'm Can we like
I shouldn't touch you guys.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Oh. Minus 1 to stand.
Your defense, it's all points against her.
Jesus Christ. Really? Okay. So, I'll show you this after. I'll show you what it all means.
We believe.
By my power as the Burgomaster of Vallaki, this hereby concludes the tribunal interactions. All will be well. Your group is free to traverse within our walls. No fines to be paid, no lashes to be received, no exile to be had. Now, there is the matter of attending to you, and he points over at Henrik, and the 2 guards that are on either side immediately flank as fast as they can to beside him, 1 on each arm. Whatever vile creatures you allow to gain entry inside my walls, you group, based on your words. I understand the anguish this man has caused you with his accusations, and I wish to offer you some kind of recompense for your plight. Under Isaac's supervision, I would appreciate it if you were involved with the questioning of this wretched mutt, especially if what you say is true and you are looking to end the reign of Strahd once and for all. There may be some information he provides that could prove useful to you, and I would hate to see that go to waste. God knows you need all the help you can find. That shield is rightfully ours. Should you die, I hope that it finds its way home at some point. But for the time being, it will be of more assistance to you than it will be hanging on my wall.
Thank you. I don't know how to really thank you for that. I will ensure I swear to you with my life, I will make sure the shield returns to its home.
I have nothing but your word to trust that, but it is better that than just hearing another band of dead adventurers in Strahd inching closer to our walls. Now, I have dinner waiting for me inside. Guards, keep Henrik under supervision. Ensure that he does not make his way anywhere this evening. Your questioning may occur tomorrow. For now, I require food and sleep. If any accusations are made against you, for the rest of your time within our walls, you will be exiled permanently. You will be the definition of model citizen, or you will leave. Is that understood?
Absolutely.
Very well. The rest of you, Gallery, thank you for your statements. You may return to your homes. Victor, come with me. And the 2 of them stand up as Isaac stands as well, but does not escort the 2 of them back towards the mansion.
They walk past us.
They walk between the benches on the left and the stools on the right.
Okay. I want to really look at the sun as they go by.
Go for it. Make a perception check.
Can I Rick follow them?
Sure. a stealth check for you.
That's gonna be 22.
Okay. Alright. Okay, for a stealth check?
21.
What the fuck is that? Oh, wow. 21, okay. It's like looking at this, I'm like, what is that? It's like half a 4.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's a 2.
okay, so 24.
21.
21, okay. Alrighty. Rick takes off silently from Oak's shoulder. He begins to follow them at a high altitude for the time being. You.
I'm not a whisperer!
All whispers.
Guys, we have an animated intro now. It's pretty sweet.
If there's any accusations against him, we are exiled.
That's true, actually. He's got a really good point.
If there are any accusations against us, he disappears.
That's not us. That could be a night at the inn gone wrong. That could be.
No, he
I
doesn't
think-
go.
I'm gonna be honest, I think we cut our lot. We got
We cut it lucky, right?
we got
Yeah, we
we
questioned him.
get out of here.
We
Oh, I'm not
questioned
talking Henrik.
Who?
I'm talking the son.
He wants to get the sun out.
Because
Oh.
this kid sounds really
Yeah.
Alright, so
With
with that concluded, I will tell you. So there was this.
All good? Okay.
So this all came down to a DC 12 roll to begin with, based on how everything went. There were pluses and minuses based on your statements, based on your actions, your rolls. So immediately you're given -1 to the roll for Irene and Ismark's account of your trip, -1 for the bones and the coinage being returned to the church, -1 for the donations and participation at the festival, which you all did. The DC was base 9. The things that were set forth to you during this was if you failed the contested check versus Henrik, it was a 21 versus your 26. That was a +2 to what I had to roll. Because you succeeded, it was a -1, so that brought it down to an 8. It was a +2 failed check versus Schmidt. You admitted that you had kept the shield, so that brought it back up to a 10. +2 if failed check versus Alexi. 5 versus a 3.
Nice!
So your DC was 10,
Holy shit.
and I rolled an 11. So you succeeded on the DC with no penalties, and the other penalties I'll tell you after the stream.
Oh my god.
So,
Get on now.
I am stressed.
Me too. I feel like I just need to eat a giant chocolate.
So sweaty. I'm so sorry.
The stool I'm sitting on drops a foot.
we just start hearing a little bit of clink.
Oh,
So, the rest of the evening, as the sun has now almost fully set, is yours. The guards escort you back to the main road.
Okay, before the guards leave with Henrik,
Mhm.
I want to go over to them and suggest to them that they bind him with silver as well as with any regular chain.
Very well. We'll do this.
It may help if he has any allies.
Rest assured, wherever he is being kept, nobody will be able to find him as well.
Very well.
And the two of them, one arm each, hoist him up. And he's not a heavy set man by any stretch. But you can tell there's definitely some stress being placed on his shoulders as he's physically bodily carried over towards the barracks.
So that's where he is.
So, with you being escorted back, Rick follows along as best he can behind the two men reapproaching the burgomaster's mansion. Does he follow them inside?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. The burgomaster is fairly deep in thought. You can tell, Rick can tell, that he's quite distracted. Now, I'm assuming you're not looking through his eyes.
No, not right now.
Okay. So this will be relayed to you once you return to to wherever he can join you. The burgomaster is clearly distraught. The words of vampires being within his walls shatters just about everything that he has done to keep himself in power, promising safety, promising the walls are what keeps Strahd out, and all of what he's doing is preventing any vampires from making their ways inside. He knows that that is now broken. And I'll get you to roll an insight check for Rick.
Sure. Rick's insight. Does he have anything? Oh, he actually is okay. Oh, that's great. That's a 21.
21, okay.
I like that dice.
He ends up reporting back that what he thinks on this is that the burgomaster, through the walk back to the mansion and the first little bit inside, the realization hit that this can never get out. If the public were to hear that there were vampires inside the walls, everything that he had done to gain power and keep power would not be allowed to continue, and someone would be able to oust him. It's at that moment that, as the doors open, the two of them take several steps inside, the doors begin to close, and Rick very rapidly has to dart down to get as close as he can before the doors close behind him. And the shuddering of wind meets a little bit of air passes by the long blonde hair of the man beside the burgomaster. And he turns around and immediately looks at Rick. And I need to look up Find Familiar really quick.
I have a card of that house.
No, I know. I need to look up the full thing. Because I need to know if he can pop back or if you have to pop him back.
I think he can pop back.
Oh my god, if he sees him, pull me up. The first, don't do anything weird. You did something weird right after it.
But also, how is he able
You have
to
to use an action to pop him out.
Rick.
As you know,
The fuck is
He can
that?
telepathically relay to me like the instant he sees Dingus looking at him.
As long as you're within 100 feet, which you are much more than 100 feet away at this point.
Well, they don't know that we have a team. That's okay.
So, give me a second.
No, but there's more.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You think or you know?
I guess we'll find out
Rick
on
gets
Slack.
fucking burned.
Not at the table?
Yeah, he's invisible.
It's not important to tell you before.
He's
I
like
heard
farting.
chance to talk about it.
No, it's him rapidly having to dart into the human-sized door and he had to stop himself to not run in the back. His wings went out a little bit and a little bit of air hit the long...
It was a pretty cute slapstick moment. It's gonna translate well to the full anime.
I love anime.
Okay.
We can't get it.
Give me a second here. Didn't expect this one. I gotta look something up.
So much rules. Guys, go check out at Dungeons of Doom. They're a pretty sweet Instagram account. They've got D&D things on their website. It's really neat. Dice, all kinds of stuff. Go check them out. Because if you do, they might give us stuff to give away to you. So you should do that.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice.
And since, as of yet, we have some great followers, but not a ton of them, your chances are pretty good.
That's true.
True.
Yeah, if you're watching this and we do giveaway on stream, you've got a solid 80-90% chance.
Yeah.
It's gonna be either 50% or 100%. So
No, we got 9.
So maybe it's
10.
a 10 to 20% chance, which is a lot better.
still good.
But yeah.
Also, double. If we do an announcement through our social channels that we're doing a giveaway on a stream, that might
Okay.
That's
make it go up.
I need Rick to make a Constitution saving throw.
This gets bad out of here.
It's okay.
The model citizens might be
You're
not
connected to us.
That's a 20.
That's a
Yeah.
20.
Whoa!
Okay.
He's rolling good tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank God.
Okay.
Stress eating.
I know. I feel like I want sugar.
Yeah.
I want massive
How many hit points does Rick
carbohydrates.
have?
12 max.
Okay.
Well, 12 right now.
12?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rick is instantly into an ash cloud.
Dang.
And the last thing that he sees is a single finger pointing up at him. as he is returned to his home dimension, you feel your connection to him snap. And you no longer have him to return to you. As an action, you try and get him to connect to your shoulder. And he's no longer there.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Whose finger was it?
That was... Yeah, it was the kid's.
It was the kid's finger.
Well, there we go.
Fuck that kid.
Oh, we gotta
Wait, no. Beat him up.
No murder.
I think we might have to murder him. I'm just saying.
So.
It's stressy, but it's veggies, so it's fine.
I know!
It's healthy stressy.
It is.
And then it's just like...
So Jordan, we're back at the end now.
I need a pee, but I'm like so stressed I can't go.
About halfway back to the end, you would have felt that connection to Rick just instantly sever. And you just try to catch him back, and you realize on the third time of trying that he is no longer there.
He's gone.
Good to know.
So, you would eventually make your way back to the end. Yeah, the funny thing actually is you wouldn't know any of this until you resummon him.
Right.
So you would have been walking back, essentially waiting to get back to the inn for Rick to return to you, or waiting to snap him back at some point, and you would have felt that connection sever.
Cool.
And upon getting to the inn and trying to return him, you would be unable to do so.
Okay.
So you don't know any of this yet.
Okay. But I can go upstairs and use
Spend
my
10 minutes
Yeah.
and use Find Familiar
Yeah, totally.
and resummon him.
Yeah, absolutely what I'm doing.
Perfect. So we'll do that so you can mark off one of your spell slots.
Okay. Oh no, Find Familiar doesn't take a spell slot if I'm back to the train.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you spend the 10 minutes, you resummon Rick, and he just word vomits everything that he saw, which really wasn't much, aside from the clear disconnect between the burgomaster and his son, where his son was, well, not his son, but the boy who you assume is his son. Next to him, where the boy was walking purposely as a noble would tend to do, whereas the burgomaster was definitely having things in his mind, evaluating options, seeing how things were playing out at the moment. And then the instant that finger pointed up at him, and suddenly he was back in the Nine Hells, waiting to be resummoned.
Cool. I'm gonna relay that to the group that like, yo, that blonde kid fucking zapped Rick. He's in trouble.
What do you mean,
So, I was going to tell you during the trial,
Where am I talking about?
We're at the end.
we're in the end.
Back at the end.
We're in like
Yeah.
that
Yes,
room.
Yeah.
We need a room, not even for drinks. Like, yeah, we would need to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
We would need to be quiet.
The six of you cramming into one of the rooms.
Yeah.
Don't we still have the fancy room?
Well, there is leaving.
The fancy room you rented for one night, Wes rented for 2 nights.
Yes.
I was leaning and glaring at Les.
You punch someone?
I didn't punch anyone.
You know what?
I held him roughly. The man was a tool.
Last I'm certain you had your
Inside
reasons.
Sure. Make a deception check.
That's cocked.
I didn't think, did I? Punch him? I thought I just was like, hey, you know.
Yeah, I know, you just grabbed
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well then,
Yeah.
well, yeah. In that case, there's no check. He's sorry. Insight was what?
24.
24. Yeah, he's being pretty honest.
I'm sure Les had his reasons, but we have more important things to discuss.
So when the doctor mentioned the vampire spawn, the burgomaster was surprised, Isaac was surprised, the son was not surprised.
Well.
And I noticed his skin. I couldn't tell, I don't necessarily know if it meant that he is undead or a vampire, but when he walked by me I could see that his face was completely smooth, no marking whatsoever, just like a newborn child, and completely pale, like he's never seen the sun.
Does that arcanically trigger anything in me? Do I know anything about this?
Arcanically?
Like magic-wise?
Yeah. Sure. Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Can I assist that in any way? Just kind of.
You can make a separate check.
Okay.
You two as the dedicated spellcasters, really.
Would I know anything from it from a religion point of view?
Not from a religion point of view.
What about the undead research? Gloomstalker.
Gloomstalker?
Or like my undead being my
No.
and then yeah.
But you already suspect he's undead.
I know, but I got that with a perception check. Like
You got that with a perception check, which
Okay.
was high enough that it was different to what you've seen.
DC
Okay.
was a 7.
It was similar, but similar in the pale aspect.
Yeah.
But not as much in the skin tone. Because
Okay.
the skin, more on the undead side, is more stretched
Right.
across the skin, and
This was just like so
across
smooth.
the bones, and this was just very smooth. It was very like
It's got a hell of a skin
had
coverage,
led an
you know that.
untouched life. is
13
what
points
it
for
was.
Okay. Yeah.
So sorry, you two, Arcana.
17.
16.
16. Okay. Currently, with what your knowledge is, it might have something to do with a prestidigitation or a disguised self,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really have the familiar characteristics of that, so it's tough for you to know for sure. It sounds similar. It's something that could be done with one of those two spells.
What was
Interesting.
the
But-
first one?
Prestidigitation.
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 Yeah, how on earth
Prestidigitation.
do you spell
Prestidigitation.
It's
prestidigitation?
very long. Called President.
What kind of spell is that?
It's a actually, I won't do
It like it
Prestidigitation
does
is-
gives the user like be able to make like faint sounds. And
It does give
Yeah.
the user able to make faint sounds.
Faint sounds, the ability to clean off dirt, to make small objects move, flame flickers, windows close, things like that.
Okay.
Disguise selves, maybe.
So, back at the inn, with the information that you now have Rick back on your shoulder, what would you like to do?
But Rick's back now?
Yeah,
Do
no,
you
I
do
said
this
it
well?
earlier.
Yeah.
I get it.
The doctor went back into his room for about 10 minutes and you saw him drawing a series of glyphs and runes on the ground. Actually,
stress reliever.
very similar to what you saw in the room in the prayer grounds. Not identical by any stretch,
Mhm.
but a similar layout.
So wait, while we're discussing this one, you said that Rick, he's the one who dissipated Rick.
He pointed a finger at Rick, and Rick was back in the Nine Hells.
So he must have some kind of magical ability in that case.
He must have, and he could see an invisible imp.
I knew exactly where he was to point at him.
Pew pew pew.
Do you think the Burgomaster saw this happen, or do you think that...
I don't think the Burgomaster. Rick, you think the Burgomaster saw this?
Preoccupied.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Sorry, yeah, I don't need the translation.
No, you're good.
Well, this thing is, you wouldn't hear it because it would be in your head.
It's,
Yeah.
He also speaks common.
No, I know.
But he chooses not to speak common.
He chooses not
He
to.
chooses not to speak common,
This is
and he
hilarious
speaks
bit we've got.
telepathically with you and infernally with you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
So to me that's suspicious in and of itself. How would this boy have gotten magical training in this town?
Coincidentally, wasn't this boy the one that caused Grandma's relatives
Yeah.
to...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because isn't he the one that she got involved with before?
That's correct.
Yeah, this is also the one that they're saying is 12 years old, but is older.
Very clearly.
I don't think it's not. Am I saying that he's 12 years old?
They said he was 13, 12
Yes.
to 13.
Yeah, it's more his image and across the
Yeah,
town
image.
is said to be that of a young...
I don't think anyone's outright told us he's 13 or 12. I think what it was that he's always represented as younger.
Rick would know then that the Burgomaster feels his faith in the town is shaken, right? Or the town's faith in him is shaken. Should
would
vampire
be.
stuff get out?
Yeah.
Would be shaken.
Okay.
Should this get out, he was able to insight and see that the Burgomaster, the thought that was crossing his mind is, this can't get out.
Additionally, sharing that with the group.
So maybe, I mean, like, just worst case scenario, we have to be careful that we are not going to all meet with some fateful accident just so that word of the vampire spawn doesn't get out in the town.
Why don't we just get the F out of here already?
Because they'll hunt us.
I
We
don't
also
think
need
they'll
that
hunt
girl.
us. They don't want to leave the city unless they absolutely have
I think that we interview Henrik
Yep.
on our terms.
Absolutely.
And then leave.
Leaf
I don't
has
think
the
we
spell
leave.
to be able to make him tell the truth.
We do have
That's
some
true.
truth kicking around.
I
That's
also
true.
You were
I was
able to
playing
do
on-
that, Lise?
Yeah, I was playing
hope
on
this is
pull
well.
down there.
Yes,
That's,
Be a
that's a
cool
really great talent to have.
Oh,
we will need that.
Thanks.
I don't think we leave. I think we need that girl still.
I think we come back.
But what
We
we
come
gonna,
back
we gonna
later
carry
for
her
her.
around on our
We
shoulders
come
the
back for her
entire
later.
time?
We still don't know what's going on. We need to
And
figure
we
out
do
what.
not want to risk the wrath of the Burgomaster's son when we have no idea
We
of
also
what he's
haven't-
capable.
Yeah, we also haven't followed through on Grandma's the task that we've been told.
Grandma's task was ultimately to unseat the Burgomaster. we can do that incredibly
No,
easily
she
now.
asked us to.
Kill Isaac to
Yeah.
unseat the burgomaster.
He's got a point. I would actually say more, Discord.
And if we can unseat him through showing something foul with his son, that's
Easy peasy.
it's
but
also
easy.
justice, but also killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I'm not gonna lie, I am a little worried about, Rick's concern that this can't get out, because it's exactly what I want to do is get out of here, so.
Additionally, Isaac did say that were we to flee the tribunal, people would be sent to hunt us.
But we didn't flee
We've
the
done the
tribunal. We
But
did the tribunal.
if we were to flee with this information, who's to say they wouldn't try and send people?
I say
on us?
bring it on.
They
I
spoke
agree.
in front of the townspeople who were there on our defense and
Yeah.
both against us about how we were free to move as we would
With
like
the
to.
guards as well.
If they want to come up against us.
But who's to say they won't try and disappear us?
Well, they would have to disappear everyone else there.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
find
think-
ways of making them quiet. I
I
can't
guess
imagine the
every
father
try
would
that.
not.
But if
We're in a
we
damned
leave,
if we do, damned if we don't situation.
if we leave after telling Grandma that we were going to stay and fulfill her request, we're just as blocked from her family as we would have been otherwise.
What exactly did you respond to this afternoon to Grandma?
Assessing options to accomplish goal. Will contact with Seeing Stone ASAP.
Perfect. Okay.
Was that the truth?
Would you like to inside check me?
Yeah, I was considering it.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, fuck
That
the party.
is
I'm out.
That was close.
an 18.
Yeah, seems to be being pretty honest.
Oh,
And
boy.
the doctor doesn't know that I've inside to check him.
I'm just saying.
No?
Oh, why are you looking at the doctor? Sorry.
Ultimately, we have the course in front of us. Grandma's relative was beset upon by the burgomaster's son. The burgomaster's son appears to be some sort of magic monster man.
And we have Henrik in our clutches. We can find out information from him, just as the
That's
Burgomaster
true.
said.
That should be our first task.
Agreed.
It is, and
Yes.
it's been scheduled.
Yes. I think we should go ahead, do that first. The rest of this we can discuss afterwards.
Depending on the information we
That's
get. I
true,
agree.
actually, yeah.
Yes. Although the thing is, just because if we were assist Grandma with
Fiona walked her.
Yes, we
yes,
know.
Lady Grandma.
Lady Grandma.
Some people might not know.
LFW.
LFW, if you will.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with LSP.
LSP?
Lumpy Space Princess.
Oh, of course. For a second, I thought we were talking about LFO, Canadian.
Oh, I have no idea who they are, but okay, sorry, I'll go back to it.
Okay.
The lowest levels of
Just,
avoidance.
I think even if we help Lady Grandma, then I don't think she would allow us any further access to her house. I think we'd still have to find some way of connecting with
I think
the
if we earned her
daughter.
trust, we're allowed in and out of her house.
That's true.
I strongly doubt it. I
Oh,
think
but
there's
just-
places hidden away.
But if we need to go in there, I want to cause as little trouble as we
We
can.
don't need to get in now, we
I
just need
want
to get
it
in
was
once
control.
and get the daughter and get out.
I think that we do that at a later date.
I
That
agree
we
with
go and
Elena.
do a little bit more research, maybe contact Octavio.
Oh, I think that's a great idea.
He will have more information. It sounds like he is able to be out in the open while not being seen and gather a lot of information. I think that he will likely be very helpful to us. And I think that after leaving, meeting up with him, getting more information, we will be better prepared to come back and either take on Fiona or take on the Burgomaster or both. At this point, it looks like we're gonna have to take on both.
I think we just need to leave all of our decisions until after we've spoken to Henrik.
Let's talk to Henrik in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's figure out what we're going to do.
I've got a bone to pick with that man.
Let's not murder him too hard
Hilarious.
just yet. Oh, because he's great, that's right. Good. Good one, Lester. I'm gonna go to bed.
Alright.
Whose room are we in?
We
even?
all good.
Yeah, your
We
room
all
is the closest to the.
Yeah, that's true.
When we walked in, back in, was there any crows upon the...
No crows?
Okay.
You
was
mean
Danica
ravens?
inside the inn?
Say that again?
Do you mean ravens? Not
There were
crows?
3 ravens.
Yeah, okay, that's what I
Get
meant.
this man. Where are the
Thank you.
fucking crows?
Was Danica in,
The Danica was in the bar.
Okay.
The Danica.
The day.
The Danica.
The D.
The
No, was anyone else? Was her husband...
Her husband was in the kitchen. You could
Okay.
hear some pots and pans going. There wasn't anybody else sitting down. It was just the 2 kids kind of running around. You can see probably playing a game of tag or something.
Okay.
Alright,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
do this.
Alrighty. So, going to bed without dinner, all of you making...
Well, can we have to?
It was more so it wasn't a actively choosing to not have dinner.
Mhm.
It's that pit in your stomach that has been released.
Oh.
That now you just, all you want to do is sleep. You've
Yeah.
been worried for several days. You've had a series of difficult encounters, not knowing which way was up or down, not knowing what was going to happen today. That being released, that sense of euphoria just passing over all of you, all you want to do is get a proper night's sleep, and you do. All of you sleep incredibly well. No dreams, no unpleasantness during the night. All the creaking floorboards in the morning of everybody waking up before dawn for breakfast doesn't wake a single one of you. And eventually you do arise. Early morning, fairly still, sun out, very well lit, and looking upon yourselves and realizing that really for the first time since the first 6 hours you set foot in this village, you are free people. So, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here and let everybody enjoy our awesome break screen and then our re-intro screen.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks, guys.
Oh god, I'm gonna poop so good.
That's
hope you guys enjoyed the intro that we ran again, because we're so freaking happy with it. Thank you guys for dropping that one.
We're so happy with Jesse.
Y'all are the best clients I've ever had. I mean that.
Clients.
I know we
pay you.
Yeah.
We've only paid you with our friendship.
I was gonna say with exposure, which is pretty par for the course.
Actually, it's true.
Yeah.
But paying for exposure is wrong.
Yeah, go for it.
Depends on the type of exposure.
Yeah.
Very
I work for exposure. And I work for exposure, and it's work water.
I don't think there's anything wrong with paying for it.
Well, I think
Depends on
like,
the situation.
yeah, but I think
I'm
in
getting
general
this
you should-
discussion out of.
Okay,
So-
so I can tell you afterwards. Okay.
Jumping back in, the party waking the following morning, well rested for the first time in several days, knowing that although there is still some work left to be done, you have free reign within the village. You are allowed to leave and return, come and go as you please, and you have a rather interesting encounter to be had with Henrik Vanderbilt, currently under guard, under watch in the Burgomaster's mansion. So, with the new day, what would you like to do?
Yeah.
We need to eat something.
Yes.
All of you do awake quite hungry.
Well,
Tucking into the rations in bed with a couple of crumbs spilling, and then realizing, oh wait, we should go downstairs and get some.
We owe Danica any more money for our rooms. Are we up to?
So you had paid for a week of rooms, so you're 5 days in.
Oh, I thought it was only 3 days or something. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
cool.
Okay, cool.
So you still got 2 days left before, and then of course you will refund anything to you.
I think that we should go and thank the Father for speaking on our behalf.
Perhaps we should make a donation to the church.
I think so too.
Yep. We can also pick up the items that we asked him to bless
Great.
for us.
Shall we three go ahead to the mansion?
I think we should
I'll
all
go.
go
No, I
together.
would rather
visit.
we all be there.
I agree. Also, do you think we can ask to question him without the god's presence?
Oh, I
Don't
bet
think-
we can.
I don't know about
We
that.
can ask.
I mean, we can ask.
What if something were to slip that would be heard by the gods?
Like what?
In regards to what?
That differs from the trial.
we'll just be like,
Would differ from
whatever.
the
Nothing would
trial.
differ.
Really, actually.
His word against ours, right?
Yeah,
Everything.
The only thing that was a differ. No, I wouldn't know that.
No,
Never mind.
No,
Nothing's
Neither
different.
would I.
no.
That's what happened.
Okay.
I'm also
Just a
sharpening my
little
finest doctor's
Handle
scalpel while we're doing this.
flip over.
Who knows?
We don't know.
I don't know why
Feeling
the house
the-
was
feeling
on fire.
the-
It was just on fire.
It
Feeling
was
the tips of
probably
my
the spawn, maybe.
Okay, so I think we should head to the church first. Were we given a time for when Henrik to come?
At some point during the following day,
Yeah.
you were to be given free reign under Isaac's supervision.
All right, let's eat and then do this.
Yeah.
I agree with
Father
that.
Petrovich and then the Burgomaster.
Let's keep it quick. I'm on a roll.
Okay.
If I keep sharpening this, I'm going to take the edge off it. So
Yeah, you just whittle down. You start sharpening the top of your nail off.
So
I need it for interrogations.
making your way after having a large, healthy breakfast down south, outside the Blue Water Inn, and then heading off to the west to the Church of St. Andrew. You catch the father in mid-morning prayer, and he does actually stop his prayer and give a nice hearty smile to all of you as you enter in, and then continues on apologizing to everybody in the congregation. The 7-8 people that are there in the morning. Eventually, after 20 minutes or so, he begins to wrap up and steps down from his pulpit? Yeah, pulpit. I was trying to remember the word for that. Pulpit. And ends up making his way down, graciously shaking the hands of everybody who had come in. A few hugs given out to some of the older women who've come into the church this morning. And then eventually it is him standing by himself, arms wide open, and gesturing for all of you to come inside. Alrighty. And you, with your giant form, kind of going up and take a knee and just big arms right up around his back and just a light hug, but...
Buddy, I appreciate it. You really, we needed that.
Thanks for coming to bat
Can
for
I
us,
kind
Padre.
of go up close to whilst Leaf's doing that and just kind of try, you know, when you try and sandwich someone but you're clearly not able to like get around them. Like you're just like kind of trying to like
Yeah, you're just kind of like one arm on either side, like
Yeah.
Trying to
So
get
yeah,
there.
kind of pushing myself like.
Yeah.
Sully and
Mike was out.
Mike Wazowski.
Yes.
We were met with a lot of judgment from, what we looked before people really got to know us, and you look beyond that, and I appreciate that.
I would not be a man of the cloth if I did not look past someone's appearance. And you too, as pious as you are, it did help your case that you came in proudly displaying your allegiance to your deities, even though they are ones that I personally do not follow. I can appreciate staying the course. Now, what can I do for you this morning?
We
Kind
just
of gesture,
came to thank you for speaking on our behalf at the Tribunal yesterday. We really, really appreciate what you've done for us. I think that as a group we would like to make another offering to the church, and I would pull out five gold coins and offer that to
I'll match it.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I would say Lisa probably only put one in, but she would definitely put a gold coin in, which is more than she would make me normally do.
I'm hanging back.
I'm gonna reach into my little satchel of seeds.
Satchel of seeds.
Aww.
And pass them out a seed. So this is a personal gift from myself to you. I recommend you plant it out back. It's from where I come from, and it would mean a lot.
Aww.
I think that's really lovely.
Any kind of new vegetation is always welcomed in our lands. It does get a little drab from time to time, seeing the same flowers and the same trees over and over.
Well, I'd love
this.
Can I, when I gave like my 5 gold coins, like.
We've appreciated everything you've done for us ever since we came here, from helping us out, and yes, like my companions have said.
You have returned the bones of St. Andrew. There's nothing that I can do that will match that level of devotion, and to show my gratitude for everything that you've done, something that may very well have brought about the end of our church, you managed to resolve in less than a day. I'm still amazed that you are able and willing to do something so selflessly for someone that you had just met.
Sidebar. Is this the church where the sun is, or that's
No, that's back in Barovia.
No, that's back in Barovia.
Yeah, he's downstairs just screaming.
Yeah, that's...
oh boy.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that one when we get back.
Yeah.
Maybe.
When we do.
Yeah.
We hope we can count on you for further counsel. There's going to be a lot more trials and tribulations, I'm sure, as our adventure goes on.
I have no doubt of this, given what you said you are here looking to do. But, as the Burgomaster said, please nothing more within our walls. I would hate to see you exiled and lose the ability to converse with you, as we have been over the last few days.
Oi, Scout's honor. We're all going to be very good girls and boys and people.
Father, you got home safely last night, yes?
Right.
You were escorted home?
No, I did not require an escort. Anytime any of the guards see me walking along the street, they know that I am not but a simple old man just making his way back to his home.
Of course. Good. Well, I'm glad you got back safely.
We did want to check on the status of our holy oil.
Oh, of course, yes. I do have that finished now. It has been a few days. Let me get that. Remind me again. It was two things of holy oil?
Two. Yeah.
Allura had one and Elise had one.
Yeah. So he would return into his back chamber. You hear a little bit of rummaging around, and eventually produces 2 glass vials, each with 1 application of holy oil. So what that would do is it would get you either an application on a blade or any weapon of your choice, or it would get you up to 3 arrows or bolts. So you can mark that down. That's not a magical item, so I won't give you a card for that one. But
That's fine.
Does it wear off?
Thank you.
Like if we use it up right before an encounter, would it only be good for that encounter kind of thing, or would it?
Single use.
Single use. Yeah, it's good for roughly 1 combat, roughly a minute, give or take. Yeah, a minute's worth of combat. At the end of the minute, it is fully worn off.
Okay.
Yeah, and it takes an action to apply.
Good to know.
I appreciate it, Father.
It is the least that I can do after everything that you've done, and now even more contributions, more than I would ever likely see in a season. You've given to me in a day. There's nothing more that I can offer. Anything that you need, please just remember that I am here to help.
Of course, Father. Thank you. And with that, I take my leave. I
I
swoosh
swear.
my cape like Tuxedo Mask.
I put my
Summon the
sunglasses.
mask.
I crack my knuckles and put my sunglasses down. So cause a ruckus, full Henrik.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Bring the ruckus.
So, making your way back towards the center of the village, and eventually south towards the Burgomaster's mansion. You see that the guard presence is a little on the heavier side in comparison to what you would expect.
Cool.
Similar to what was happening yesterday. And familiar set of faces most of the time that you've gone in during the morning or mid-afternoon. You've seen roughly the same 2 to 4 guards.
Was it the same guard that I saw when we approached the Burgomaster's place last time?
Maybe at night when the guys asked us?
Yeah. Is that the guy there?
No, he's not.
Oh.
He's one of the evening guards. That's the one with the guards. But just... Right. I'll be right out inside. Follow me. Isaac will want to speak to you.
What's going on?
There was an attack last night. Henrik is alive, barely. Some of us are not. You don't know exactly what happened. You will likely still be able to question him. Regrettably, this did not happen last night, when you may have been able to get more out of him.
Well, perhaps we can assist his constitution.
What was known about the attack?
I don't want to help this guy.
There is nothing that is known. Those of us who were assigned to guard Henrik last night, the 2 at the door, inside the barracks, found dead, throats cut this morning. Bled out on the ground, the doors to Henrik's chamber opened, and the man inside, barely alive, clinging to life. Blood everywhere.
What did the wound pattern look like? Did you get a good look?
I just heard reports from the men who were closer. You need to speak to Isaac on this.
Of course. Please take us to him.
Right away. They escort you back into the barracks. You can see that all the same archery targets and the same fighting ring have been set up as they had the previous day. All the chairs, the wooden stools, the benches have all been cleared off at this point. Isaac is standing over, kind of head in hands, leaning against one of the walls, and gets summoned and turns around. Very well, you're all here. We should do this quickly. I do not know how much longer we have with him.
We heard there was an attack, Isaac. Can you tell us anything about it?
Perhaps we should speak to Henrik first.
Probably
and
a
then
good idea.
Discuss with Isaac. I'd also like to see where the attack happened.
I think this would be best. He is being kept in the same room, a heavier guard. We should make our way down there quickly.
Very well.
We'll see if we can wake him up for you to ask any questions.
We do have healers here if we need to help with any wounds.
If it is magical healing, that could be greatly used at this point. Follow me. And he leads you into one of the barracks, and you see one of the large tents that's been set up. There's actually been a fairly large hole that's been dug, and then underneath that essentially navigates down into a series of underground chambers. Essentially what seems to be hiding some kind of an underground either prison or stockade of some kind, and you do see that on the ground it is just bare dirt, no real stone of any kind, but some support beams in place to make sure that the roof doesn't collapse.
As we're walking, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'd like to ask Isaac if anyone else knew about this.
Where
Like
is being kept, you mean?
who knew about Henrik being kept here?
The gods all knew. Every one of us, myself, the Burgomaster, I believe that's everyone.
Make an insight check that.
Go for it.
Okay. That is a 16.
16, okay. Okay. He seems to be hiding something. You can't quite determine what it is, but he doesn't seem to be being entirely truthful about the number of people who knew.
Does it seem like he's glossing over Victor?
Or like he's
You don't know.
protecting
Yeah,
someone.
yeah, we're not.
You don't
Yeah,
know.
we can now.
You just know that his eyes kind of flicker, and you can see the stern expression coming across his face, like he was going to say at least someone else, but
What of the other gentleman that was presiding over the tribunal last night? Victor, I believe his name was.
Victor was inside
Yes.
when Henrik was placed underground. To my knowledge, he does not know of our stockades. He's still a young man, not needing to know everything about how the village functions.
Let me insight check that.
Go for it.
Doctor doing some sleuthing.
21.
21. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Victor.
Yeah, it was Victor. Cool.
Most likely, he is the one person who or he is at least one person who you asked him about directly if he knew. It's difficult for him to hide the expression. You can see that Isaac, for the most part, has been a very stoic man. Expressionless, neutral, as best you can possibly be. This and everything that came to light yesterday seems to have shaken that a little bit. Please follow me.
Absolutely.
And he takes you down into the area. You eventually do make your way to the front of a very heavily barricaded iron door. All the barricades, however, are on the inside, so unable to be opened from the outside.
So they're not there to keep people like us down. They're there to keep us in.
May I ask you, will try not to move anything. I'm sure there's been guards in and out, but if I have any hope of figuring out what happened here, or tracking, or saying anything, we need to try and not disturb this room as much as we can.
I wish you luck with that. There's been many people who've been down in this area before.
Leaf, perhaps you and I can take a closer look at Henrik.
Definitely.
Right. And so the two of you, eventually the barricades are removed, a series of sharp raps on the metal, and you do see that outside the front of the closed iron door there is a very large pool of now dried blood that's soaked into the dirt, and some of it's still crumbling to the touch under your feet. Barricades are removed, the door is opened, and inside you see Henrik laying on his side, blood all over the floor. He looks to have lost a lot of blood.
Can I examine his wounds, see what they look like?
Can I assist him with that?
Go for it. We'll let you do it at advantage because you said assist.
That one's cocked. That's still cocked, but
Is he
whatever.
still
Why not? That's fine.
tied up?
Still tied up?
Yeah.
Yes. Hands behind
Did
his
they bind him with silver like I told them to?
They did.
Okay.
21.
21? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, so you're looking for...
I'm just trying to figure out like what
how
attacked
he was
him.
attacked?
Yeah,
Okay.
how he was attacked.
So very carefully, gingerly looking around, looking for what you thought maybe would be vampire bites. You see none. But you do see that there is a very large gash straight across from his left ear, right down to his right collar.
Similar to like we saw Irina and Ismark's daddy.
Similar to those.
Yeah,
but
similar to Giles.
less so ragged, more so precise.
Okay.
A bladed weapon.
A blade.
A blade of some kind.
Okay. I would like to bind his wounds.
Okay.
Leaf, maybe you can help me out here. Pop a little bit.
Yeah,
So his wounds are already, like, there's a fair bit of gauze,
Yeah.
heavy bandaging as best he can. You can still see little small amounts of blood leaking out. Eyes are closed. He is breathing very raggedly.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pump just to cure wounds into him.
Okay.
So
What
that's
level?
just first level.
First level? Okay. Good roll.
So-
Or actually, do you just get max hit points?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
That's when I hit
6?
something.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1d8.
What a world.
Oops, sorry, Henrik.
It's okay, you add your wisdom.
Yeah. So wisdom. Oh, and I gotta. So that is. Sorry, let me check. Yeah. So I get 1, 6.
Yeah, you get a bunch of bonuses.
I get. Yeah, it'll come up to about 9.
9? Okay. So,
If anyone's wondering.
looking at the gauze and kind of removing it a little to examine the wound as best you can, as the doctor did, you place your hands on it, and as the blood begins to flow out, you slowly kind of almost begin pinching your fingers together as the wound itself begins to close ever so slowly down his neck and across the right-hand side of his chest. At this point, you notice that in addition to that one long gash, there are a series of heavy indentation bruisings on his ribs and on his upper torso that were currently hidden by his tunic, which has been cut away at this point.
Interesting.
It looks like whatever did this, there were a series of attacks that were made, and one that was meant to be a finishing blow.
Alith, have you found anything outside?
Okay, can I investigation check this whole area?
It's survival.
Survival, yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to find tracks.
Tracks, and really any kind of thing, like just from where the blood spatters are.
Still also
CSIing this.
Elite,
Yeah, I'm basically
the Dexter
gonna,
of the group.
yeah, I'm basically gonna like put on my sunglasses, dun dun.
Yeah.
You're gonna Dexter.
You're just gonna CSI it.
This scene looks like a bloody mess.
Oh no!
It's 8 with my survival, but
Okay, so 8. Looking around with the sheer number of boot prints and the number of people who have led him in the night before, checked on him in the morning after finding the dead guards outside, basically any trace of being able to find what or who might have done this has been lost to the boot prints of everyone else.
Can I look around as well? I've got proficiency in survival.
If you were to medicate.
Yeah, it's more so that
Like, are we all like surveying the area, like seeing how this person?
the room
I'm
isn't
a
large
tracker.
enough for all of you to be in there. So it was the 3 of you had said that you 2 want to go in and medicine check and you want to be survival checking. So next time if you want to, let me know earlier basically.
Can I get an idea from the amount of indentations and bruising how many approximately attackers there may have been?
Sure, make a medicine check. This will be a high
Is
DC.
that one as well?
Mm,
Are you gonna make that? Actually, yeah. If you're not announcing that intention, then I
yeah,
will.
this is just you looking at the bruising as he's healing. I'll let you make this one. This
forgot I
will
had
be a
that.
high DC.
Okay.
Can
Well, that's
I...
no good.
I made that.
That is. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I'll let you finish your...
Oh, my medicine bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
It's a 9. It's
9?
I can't figure it out.
Yeah, looking at it, it looks like there could be multiple. It could just be one person hitting a lot of times. You're really not sure.
Leaf, Doctor, do you need any of my assistance with healing?
How's he looking?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, is he?
At this point,
conscious
you've
now?
successfully closed up the wound that's run across his neck and down his upper torso.
Yeah.
You're beginning to work on checking all the bruising, knowing that none of it is life-threatening, finding one where it may have punctured a rib, which is beginning to puncture some of the internals, and you've snapped that back into place, and you can feel the sickly cracking of bones as everything begins to reattach inside him. He's definitely flinching heavily in pain, and you can see the eyes kind of feeling all of this, and the breath kind of returning to him, where his trachea very well may have been cut by that blade coming across, so he would have been unable to speak.
And Rick, we're.
I think we're fine, Hope. Thank you, though.
I'll let you know, Hope. We'll, Hey, buddy, you up?
Let me know if you want any help interrogating him.
Oh, stand by. Henrik,
Don't lay around.
Keep the door open.
good to see you.
Fuck all of you.
Good to see you too, bud.
And he just spits up a large glob of blood onto the ground.
Actually, because I'm not in the room, am I visible to Henrik?
Visible to him? Not really.
Okay. Because for the zone of truth is 60 feet. And if he sees someone casting it, then he can choose.
No, he knows if he's been affected by it. That's the way
I
one
thought it
of
was
these
just
works.
if they saw you casting
No,
the
it's
spell.
when they are in the zone, they know that they are affected by it.
I was gonna say, in that case, you might want to shut the door.
Yeah, because I was...
So that guy ran.
We just rolled up and sleep.
Yeah, he's gonna wait
Like,
once.
like how big is the room with Hendrik? Can we all go in there, or is it like?
No.
It's a bit small for all of you to go in there. This is designed more as like a prison stockade. It's designed really to hold one person who's being interrogated by two.
'Cause I wanted to go in there because that was the last person. Remember, I roughed him up in the house. I was hoping to get in there.
I think we got this.
It's up to you guys. You can decide whoever you want to be in there.
So, or who is in there currently? Is it
Currently in there is those two, you, and Isaac is kind of like pressed himself up against the wall just watching everything. He doesn't really count as being in the room per se because he's not moving around. So the 3 of you are kind of the 3 bodies that can fit inside the room at the moment.
Okay.
Leaf, especially given your size, it's difficult for anybody else to fit inside that.
Boys.
Yeah, you could... Les could always call to ask to come in.
We'll let you know.
We can swap out bad cops.
Yeah. It's up to you
If
guys.
he doesn't start talking, let me know.
Will do.
While this is going on, are the bodies of the guards?
They've been removed.
Okay.
Yeah, so Isaac's in the room, so I'm assuming we're only near guards. We haven't got anyone else.
Correct. Yeah, you can notice that the entrance to the chamber is now heavily guarded. There are 4, 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top of where the staircase descends down. The kind of like rough-hewn.
Are any of the guards recognizable to any we've spoken with before?
Spoken with before? Make a perception check.
That is a 14.
14? Not really. Most of them look... Guards, for the most part, in this town are generic Caucasian male between 25 and 35. Picking out a specific one, you may have encountered 1 or 2 of them before, either escorting you back to the Burgomaster's mansion, or like the general people just milling around the street, but no one that you've really engaged heavily in conversation.
Because I'll admit, like out of character, that I'm kind of slightly curious to see if the guards killed were anyone that we knew. Was it like the guards who like Schmidt and Aaron, or is it Kai? Like how strong were these guards?
You don't know. So, for the 3 of you inside the room, 3 of you inside the room, are you continuing?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so what is it you'd like to do?
Yeah, so what you said fuck us last time? Because it's
he
good
was-
to see you again, bud. Really appreciated last night.
You'd think you'd be more receptive to people who just made sure you didn't bleed out and die underneath Barovia.
I told you we were all gonna die.
Yeah, but you didn't say of what. Who did this?
Fuck off.
I appreciate that,
Oh.
Henrik. I know you probably don't know a lot about me or where I come from, but what I believe in, I feel I'm a pretty forgiving fellow, so, we might be able to start being a little more truthful with us, we might be able to figure something out.
You help us, we help you.
Or you don't help us, and we definitively do not help you.
And with that, I'm going to cast a Zone of Truth on Henrik.
So, Zone of Truth is everyone in the 60-foot area.
Yep.
So, at that point, there would be the whole party. Isaac, Henrik, and
Isaac too.
Oh,
4 guards.
Can I, sorry, before I do this, knowing that, say, can I call and say, we're just gonna do something here, it's gonna make this a whole lot easier. Hope y'all understand.
I think I might know what's going on. To these two, can I quickly be like, kind of like trying to subtly be like, you can choose not to answer.
We already talked about it earlier, so we would know.
I do know one of the guards,
So,
that's who this
so I need all of you guys, if you want to try and resist the effect, to roll what is it? It's a wisdom saving throw?
Charisma saving throw.
DC 15, I think.
16. Oh shit, fuck, no, that would be wait. Oh, no.
It's your regular spellcasting.
Yeah, sorry,
15, okay. So yeah, so charisma saving throw, DC 15.
Oh god, I'm gonna fail this for sure.
Oh, well that's fine.
Ooh. Hehe. Buddy.
God, that's 3 times. There we go. And no, failed. The last one was
So who's everyone's crush?
Doctor.
Oh god.
This is gonna be a bit.
Sorry, Zone of Truth, right?
Yeah, I can,
I got it.
I like lost the bottom part of my bow. So
Oh,
nice.
shit.
Is broke?
Okay.
Probably somewhere in my trace bag, honestly.
Oh no!
Move on.
You cast the spell.
Yep.
You begin to feel it take effect. You feel 4 distant hits of the spell succeeding. You feel it succeeding on Isaac, and you feel it failing on Henrik. He seems to have been able to resist the effect.
Cool. Alright.
Batter up.
So Like the effect is failing. He is not under the effect of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, everyone else failed their saving throw.
Gotcha.
He succeeded his saving
Gotcha.
throw. Yeah, he rolled a natural 17 plus 0.
Okay.
I
Sorry, Isaac did or Henry?
I
did?
saved it.
Isaac failed.
Yeah, Isaac failed.
Isaac
Okay,
rolled a
cool.
2.
Okay, cool.
Oh, just switch those rolls.
So you can drop it and cast it again, forcing him to make another saving throw. But then you'll burn another spell slot accordingly.
Jordy,
Yes.
I'd like to pop Charm Person.
Charm person.
Okay.
Okay.
Does this
Hold on.
roll more than once? Because it says on the start of the turn. He's starting his turn there, so I'm assuming that's every 6 seconds. Is that? Sorry, I'm just reading.
This makes for great.
It's good roleplay.
It's 281 if you
Reading
didn't have
the
the pages.
The creature that enters the spell's aura for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there must make this charisma saving throw.
Sorry, I'm seeing starting its turn there, like.
Yeah, so essentially, when you cast the spell,
Okay.
when he goes to speak, he makes his throw.
Okay, just want to double check.
And he either fails or succeeds for the duration.
Okay.
So with that, you say to the party, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
he seems to have resisted.
Okay.
It's anyone, I'm sorry.
Just leave it like that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the
yeah,
idea.
sorry. I was just
Charm person?
Yeah, drop Charm Person on him.
Okay.
So wisdom
Yeah,
saving.
it's just a
Yep,
thing
just
you
gotta
want to
check
do.
it.
I remember from last time.
Yeah.
Person.
That's why I have to admit I was
You're gonna treat me as a
I need.
I got your window, babe.
You or
I
your
need a
companions
fan,
are fighting,
clean
so in this
the
case, because he is actively against you, he has
Ben,
advantage on
please
roll.
help with soft touch.
What's your DC?
spell save DC?
Yeah,
It's
natural 18.
16 or 17. Either way, it doesn't do it.
18. Yeah,
He is stubborn.
you feel
I just want to see you had an
you
easy
feel
out
that
there.
beginning
Just let me
sense
go,
of-
guys.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give him disadvantage on that
Okay.
specifically because you just brought him back from the brink of death.
Yeah.
He would not have full mental faculty there, so will be a straight roll
So you
instead.
have disadvantage on lease as well.
On lease,
We don't have to recall now.
it would be more so. Yeah, it would be like
It's all good.
yeah. So on that one though, it'd be an 8.
Oh, 16.
So he does succeed. So he is under the effect of charm person, which lasts for
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
charm
sure that
person.
Isaac can still.
So charm person. He regards you.
It's a friendly acquaintance.
Regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When his spell ends, he knows it was charmed by you. Okay. So his expression, the hardened one, towards you specifically, begins to soften slightly, and a very small smile begins to come across his lips.
Henrik, buddy.
Doctor. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. What happened to you? You've been ravaged.
Mold in my sleep. I wish that I'd seen more, but unfortunately not.
Do you know? Like, you must have woken up at some point.
I woke up to a bloody fucking bag over my head.
Really? Could you hear anybody?
Just the blows against my body.
No one said anything.
Whatever it was, I don't think they wanted anything out of me except to die.
How's Isaac reacting to this?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Got so quiet in here all of a
I
sudden.
know, well, we're like.
The music's out,
yeah.
but we're like, oh god.
17.
17. Okay.
He's also zone of truth, did
He is. Yeah. So he does. He knows that he's under the effect. He knows that he doesn't have to speak the truth.
Yeah.
You look over at him, and he's kind of back to his stoic expression.
Mhm.
There's quite a bit of anger across his face. You don't really know what that anger is towards, but there is definitely anger there at the realization that he was attacked in his sleep, and someone clearly wanted him dead under the guard's eyes.
I'm going to turn to Isaac quickly and
Yep.
say, who had access to Henrik last night?
I've told you this already. It was myself, the burgomaster, anyone who knew that he was down here.
Including?
Myself, the burgomaster, the guards.
How about Victor?
Yes.
Well. Isaac, why did you keep that from us?
And he just leans back against the wall and closes his mouth.
Henrik, buddy.
Yeah, you know this place soon, right?
We're gonna do our damnedest, old friend. Now, I got a question. So, those vampires trick, what was that about?
Man,
What's up with that?
I was messed up.
Yeah.
What a high school counselor.
And I feel like Henrik is like a stoner.
It's not your fault.
That's really whack, dog.
What were they doing in your place, bro?
You get approached. You don't say no.
Who approached you?
Come on. You're not that stupid.
No, you got me. So he just like came to you and was like, yo, hide some vampires in here?
Middle of the night.
Yeah.
I was working out. In the
Nice.
backyard of my house.
Nice. Get some gains, bro.
Making some coffins.
I was working in the backyard of my house.
Yeah.
Jumping down a few trees.
Yeah,
Trying to get
nice.
some wood. Make more of my craft.
Yeah.
A man approached me. Never seen him before. Had some kind of a look on him of just power.
What do you look like? Do you remember?
Fair face, kind of shorter, black hair, angled eyebrows, very, very fit. Just kind of
Like
prime
like a
specimen.
sick, handsome dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't lean that way.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah, he came up to me and told me that I had to do this, or my wife was going to die. And then she died anyway.
Dang, bro. That's rough.
Yeah.
So, like, has this been going on? Did you just have those guys in there, or were there, like, more coming through? How'd they get in?
The crates just showed up at my door. I don't know how they got there. Note attached. Keep them inside, away from sunlight.
I want to look and see how Isaac's reacting to this.
Go for it. Make an insight check.
That's not great. 12.
Yeah, natural 20. Yeah, he's definitively stoic. Like, everything that you've seen from him up until yesterday of the expressionless, emotionless face is instantly back in place, and none of this appears to be phasing him in any way.
Interesting. So, this dude just shows up and is like, hey, hide these guys, or else your wife dies. That's what happened.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's it?
There's not much else that can be said.
Huh.
He threatened my wife. Obviously me.
Yeah, of course.
And all that he said is, you'll be receiving some packages. Keep them safe. Until the time is right. I didn't know what any of it meant, but if it keeps my wife alive, you know I'd do that.
I feel you, man. I feel you. You gotta look out for yours. Family above all else, right, Henrik?
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn to the doctor and say, if his wife died, why do you continue doing it?
Yeah, bro, why? Why'd you keep doing it if your wife died? Why didn't you, tell the guards about this?
Every time I went to go leave, I just saw him standing there.
Really? So he's here?
I never knew if it was real or just some kind of fucked up illusion.
I feel
Can I
you, man.
insight check that?
Yeah, go for it.
Just making sure. That's a nat 20 with a 6,
Yeah,
so 26.
that's honest.
Fair enough.
So,
Use that one.
I'd step out at night, try to
Actually, that was him.
just make my living and see someone step out from behind the trees. Went out during the day, go buy food, and I'd see the face passing among the people in front of the stalls. I never knew what to believe.
Yeah, man. I feel you. I feel you. So, why'd you steal the bones?
a note came.
Same guy?
Take the bones. Hold on to them. And you'll get your wife back.
Whoa. This was after she...
After she had passed. After I buried her in the backyard.
I want to look at Isaac and see if he's reacting to this.
I'm actually like, I will also be like,
Yeah, I'll probably be like,
yeah.
I don't trust this dude no more. Not that I did in the first place, but actually
wait,
not now.
sorry, Henrik or Isaac?
Isaac.
Yeah.
Henrik's my bro now. We're friends.
Isaac's the burgomaster.
Only for like
Friendship
56 more
ended with
minutes.
Isaac.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
We're gonna have a side series. We're having adventures in high school.
John can come.
Alright. Henrik, quick question.
He's cool. He's cool. Don't worry about it.
Have you, or realistically, this question goes to anyone else in the room, ever commissioned a doll that might look like Irina? And if so, why exactly would you or anyone else in the room have done that?
Do you know anything about that, dude? Like, we found this like crazy doll, man.
Who the fuck is Irina?
See, I want to look at Davis.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll let you make an insight check.
Yeah, bro.
I really could use that 20 though. Get it again with a 1. That's an 8.
That's an 8?
Sorry, 7.
That's a 1.
Wow!
Oh, yes. Are you using those purple
Uba.
dice?
No, that's my white die. This is the up or down. That is deception plus 5, so it's a 6.
Okay.
So you had a 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dope.
You're expecting a reaction.
Yeah.
There is no reaction.
Wow, it's only like Shaggy said.
So, remembering back, Blinsky told you he was the one who ordered the doll.
Sorry. I said why.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, one of the questions I asked was, did I say why?
Yeah,
you
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you look over the expression on Isaac's face, expecting him to kind of be like with the realization that you know that he ordered the doll, and it's not there.
Fucking Blinsky.
Just a reminder though, you all incited Blinsky, and he was telling the truth.
Yeah, he was.
Isaac ordered the doll.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
someone who looks
someone
like
who
Isaac.
looks like Isaac or is able to disguise themselves like Isaac.
So, continuing on from there.
Yo, so this dude who kept showing up, he kept looking like the same guy, right?
Yeah, he was always the same guy.
Yeah.
It was
Short black hair, he
short
said.
black hair, just piercing, red and black eyes.
Okay.
Really, just not a fun-looking person.
No, dude, I feel you. He sounds wicked gross.
Why are you talking like an idiot, man?
You know me, man. This is how I talk.
I do know you.
I love this doll. It's great.
Alright, listen,
Hey, real quick. How they treating you down here? They treating you okay?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Besides the
fact that I'm in fucking prison.
Well, yeah, besides that.
Yeah. About as good as can be.
Yeah. And nothing, you don't remember anything about last night, huh?
I'm telling you. I woke up, sharp pain in my stomach.
Yeah.
Somebody hitting me, something metal maybe. And then, eyes open, bag over my head, can't see a damn thing. Just feeling these blows coming, my arms tied behind my back.
And just hitting you from all angles, huh?
From in front.
From in front?
I was on my side.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Hands behind my back.
Yeah.
And just over and over. And I tried to roll away and I get forced back on my side. And then eventually just that slick sensation right up here.
Right there,
And
right?
he just kind of like gestures with his shoulder to where the blade impact was, and then
And all the way down. Here.
he's kind of like gesturing with his face as best he can.
I feel you, man. That sucks.
No shit.
Yeah.
Look, I am all kinds of fucked up right now.
I feel you. We're gonna talk to these guys. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna see what we
Thanks, old friend. He just kind of like leans back down a little.
Cool. I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
I got what I need.
Alrighty.
Maybe someone wants to talk.
So, leaving the room?
Yeah.
Leaving the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not wearing his shirt anymore.
Nice.
Like his tunic is like
Henrik?
ripped off. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it had been cut off because like it had been cut straight across.
So all of the bruises that he has, there's nothing on his back because he wasn't getting hit from that direction.
Correct. He looks like he was being hit only from the front. You've got solar plexus. You got some of his upper body. You saw a leaf attending some of his wounds, cracked ribs. Whatever was hitting him hard. It's tough to say what material was hitting him. Potentially something metal, if not someone who is a very trained fist fighter. And outside of that, the blade is just incredibly sharp, cutting straight through ligaments, muscle tissue, and then cracking its bone all the way across.
I'm also interested in if it looks like they were avoiding the silver on his back or not.
That one is too tough to say.
Hey, before I'm sorry. Before I'm leaving, can I turn to Isaac and just say,
That wasn't you that did that to Henrik, was it?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so, I was just checking.
We had made an agreement with all of you wanting to come here and question him. This is what you were being allowed to do.
We're not in the room with you guys, right?
No.
We were like told to do this.
We were told that we would be allowed.
You would be allowed
Oh, okay, I misunderstood. I'm sorry. I thought the burgomaster was like
It was kind of
requiring
like
us to do this.
we
I
got
thought it was like you will help
I
with
wish
this.
to offer you some kind of recompense under Isaac's supervision. I would appreciate it if you were involved with the question.
We kind of got
Right.
voluntold,
Yeah.
but like also
Yeah.
something that we would want to do. So
Yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
worked out for
Okay,
everybody.
okay, yeah.
You
so
are
they-
looking to end the reign of Strahd once and for all.
Yeah.
There may be some information he provides that could prove useful to you, and I would hate to see that go to waste.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was basically
no,
implied if we wanted to rough him up that we'd be able to do that, but like obviously he's already been pretty roughed up.
While they're all talking, can I ask one of the other guards, is Kai still around?
Yeah, they're around somewhere. I think it might be on patrol right now. I'm not sure.
Did they see anything?
I don't fucking know. Go ask them.
Yeah, because they're under the zone of truth
Yep.
as well. Yeah. What were the names of the guards who unfortunately were killed last night?
They haven't told us who they are. Just
Have you noticed anyone missing yet?
notice people missing all the time. Don't show up for work. Show up late for work. Just is what it is. Life of a guard in a city.
They don't know anything.
Can I? Sorry. Go ahead.
And what is your name?
DM.
I don't feel like telling you that.
Fair enough.
I can accept that.
Seems like every guard you get the name of gets in shit in some way.
What is that supposed to mean?
Schmidt, Aaron, Alexei, all them having to stand on trial for things you've done against him. I'd rather not be involved, so you go on about your way, I'll go on about mine, and we live happily ever after.
They don't like
I hope that you do.
Can I tag Isaac real quick and just be like, where are the bodies of the guards that fell last night?
They have been returned to any family that they have for burials beside the church.
Did you examine them at all?
Of course.
What did you find?
Throats cut.
Throats
Clean-
cut.
Clean straight through. Whatever did that to them, either they didn't see it coming, or they knew who it was. There was someone who could get close enough to do that.
Any chance we could take a look at one of those bodies?
That would be up to the families. You would have to engage them, but losing a loved one inside our walls is no small thing.
No, I can't imagine it is.
When was the last time a guard was killed on duty in Vallaki?
Yes. Guards take their position because they keep the town safe. Biggest opposition they've fought, or they've had in many years, has just been local ruffians, thieves, people who at the sight of a single sword just drop anything and run away.
I see.
This is something all new. And it all seems to be happening because of what happened yesterday.
Isaac, while we have you, did you find anything on Shafir?
Shafin.
Shafin, thank you.
No. He is not reported for duty now in better part of 4 days. We do not know where he is. Search parties have been sent out. Doors have been knocked on. Residents asked for information. Nothing has been provided.
Nothing back from any of your men. Good to know. Thank you.
No. You're not there?
I know.
Can you whisper to Rick?
I know.
No, because you haven't asked Rick to be out.
No, that's fair.
I mean, we're at the door. We can hear what's
Yeah,
happening.
you can talk to Isaac.
Yeah, you can hear that, but
We can't really.
you can't really interact. You can't insight check things,
Yeah.
anything like that. And he's in the zone of truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, as soon as like if he leaves whilst the zone is truth is still there, then we can perhaps ask him further questions.
Isaac, is there anyone within the town who you know of who would want to be part of some kind of plot against the town, the burgomaster? Anyone who'd have a motive to mess with the establishment?
He thinks for a good 20, 30 seconds, kind of like almost crossing names off inside his head. Just kind of nothing that comes to mind.
Can I insight check that to see if he genuinely thinks that Lady Fiona Walker is not
He
a
is
threat?
under the effective zone of truth, so
Yeah.
his words are true
Okay, yeah,
to
okay.
him.
So he doesn't think that there's any threats genuinely.
Correct.
Okay.
Isaac, while we're here, can you tell me a bit about Victor? Well, I mean, we'd only been told that he was a much younger man, and he appeared to be, rather teenaged.
There will be no answers from me regarding that man.
Very well.
If you're all finished here,
I am.
Can I kind of call through, I'd like to see inside.
As loudly as I can, which isn't that loud.
I would like to be able to see inside, please.
I'll
There's
exit.
I'm good.
Let open.
so you three step out.
Mhm.
Hope you're allowed in. What is it you're looking for?
I wanted to kind of examine kind of the blood on the ground.
All of that has all been done already. There isn't a way to do it again, per se. Like,
It was more so to see, did it look like the amount of blood, all of the blood from a person had been drained onto the ground?
it's dirt. There's no way to be able to tell that accurately. Yeah, if it was onto a stone floor that hadn't been cleaned up, maybe. But
Yeah.
it's been several hours probably by this point. A lot of it is seeped into the ground. There would be no way to know for sure.
Does it look as though anything, I mean, admittedly I've not been in this place, but anything out of place in this
I
cell?
have no idea. They're looking at it. You've never seen this before. You didn't even know this existed. Nothing. Everything could be out of place. Anything could be. Nothing could be out of place.
The only other thing I would like to ask, whether you can answer it or not, is I remember you telling us about the spawn and that they could come from any kind of dirt surface. Does it look like they were spawned here?
No, it's that they're
No.
placed in they have to have
They're in a
grave
colony.
Resting place.
They have a resting place that is
Yeah.
dirt.
Yeah. Did it look as though there were any spawn resting places in this
Oh,
cell?
that they could have come out of?
Yeah.
Is that so?
Oh.
Dug into an ancient spot.
Sure. Make an investigation
So
check.
the answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short answer to that is no.
Okay.
Looking at the walls, and it's really tough for you to know as well because you've never seen that before. You don't know what it looks like when they crawl out of the dirt, what it looks like when they go into the dirt. So the dirt itself looks well packed overall, for the most part, trodden on.
We would hope that Isaac would notice if there was like a person-sized hole in one of the walls.
Yeah, pretty much that, like some kind of structural integrity that had failed inside the room, or like a giant hole in the floor, right? That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Can I do look at the lock on the prison door?
There is no lock on the door.
There's no prison door lock?
No.
It's bolted from the inside, right?
It is bar. So there is a bar on the outside that was put down, and then the bar has been moved to the inside to now allow only the people who are allowed inside.
So there's no locker key. It's just like a bar that you take off.
Yeah. So you can imagine that it's two double doors, and there's the bar going across them. When you try to open it from either side, it won't open until the bar is removed.
Elaborate that way.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, so like, is Isaac in the room with me, considering I went to
He's
go?
staying in the room until all of you are done.
Okay, if this isn't interrupting the doctor, can I ask Isaac a couple of questions?
No, please.
Go for it.
Isaac, do you know of anyone in the city besides us who might have the ability to cast spells?
Jesus Christ. How are you not being so suspicious right now?
So this is like a big underground prison area, right?
No, it's a fairly narrow, narrow walkway, and then the room that you're in is about the size of this, give or take.
Oh, and it's just like that room.
It's that
okay,
room
cool.
underground.
I'm good.
Isaac, you chose not to answer. Is it?
This is not an interrogation of me. You are to interrogate this man. I am done answering questions.
I understand. Thank you. Henrik.
And he just kind of looks up and just...
Fuck off.
Yeah, I know, and I don't technically know what the doctor has received yet. So yeah,
okay, I'll take my leave from the room.
So I kind of come back out and be like,
did anyone else want to go in there?
I have what I need for the investigation.
Yeah, I think we,
Hi, Henrik. Be seeing you later.
You can see the genuine anger fear on his face. Just the...
I look forward to hearing what he's learned.
No. We're not doing the Mercer face. So.
yeah, because actually...
Making your way out, dropping Zone of Truth, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Charm Person continues until outside the range. And then you just hear kind of a loud fuck from underground.
What a bit.
It's a good bit.
Nice. That was a good bit.
The guards escort you back again to the main road. The rest of the day is yours to decide what you would like to do with it. Doctor, I assume, passing the information along.
Well, because I just remembered the main question that I wanted to ask Isaac. But it was pretty
he wasn't
frustrating.
going to answer it.
Yeah.
So, continuing back on.
Yeah.
This is going to be where we're going to wrap things up for this week and leave everybody with the decision of what you would like to do for next week. You have freedom within the city. You can go anywhere that you would like. You have no restrictions on having to stay inside the walls if you'd like to leave. So, as a group, I would like you to let me know what you want to do for next week so I can get everything prepped. And we can go from there.
What's the next festival? Another one.
Let's just go to another.
Next festival is happening in about
Let's festival
4
hop
weeks.
and find a camper van and just go around.
Let's just live here. That's a fun RP.
Honestly, I've heard about campaigns that have literally been like 4 months of sessions where it's just downtime.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Where like the DM has so much stuff written to the point that the players just like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but we just want to like read books, like learn about the land.
Oh, God.
And they spend like 3-hour sessions just literally in a library.
I've been hinting towards the leaf farming arc, where we slowly sow the lands of new seeds.
Farm
Agriculture.
Let's
Farm
do
Vallaki.
it. Yeah.
Love
We
it.
got
Awesome.
it.
Alrighty, so thank you everybody for watching tonight. Awesome
Thank you.
session. That
Yeah.
tribunal was
stressful.
ridiculous.
It was so stressful.
So stressful.
Drop us a comment if you had your fingernails in the palm of your hands like I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say like probably half the people at this table.
Oh my
Or actually,
God.
comment where we should go next.
No,
Yeah.
please
If
do
you have
not.
a suggestion.
I do
Or
not
if
want there. I do not
Stay
want
in
the
town.
conversation.
Yeah.
Well, the first
We
one
won't
says, so
do
where's
it.
Go
I'm just saying they can.
They can have
What is
opinions.
a reasonable suggestion?
I'm
They can have opinions.
Also,
They should tell us-
don't
they
forget
can
we
tell
have
us
to
what
name
they
Hope's horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to come up with a group name too.
You
Yeah.
do. That's the other one.
The
That
Mighty
now
Ducks.
18 sessions in.
Oh
and
my God.
That was the first time anybody's asked, and you all went, "Oh shit, who are we?"
Who are we is
Who
the
are
question.
we?
S Club
Who are
6.
we?
S Club 6.
The Breakfast
Oh my
Club.
god.
Oh god.
The game.
So, quick shout outs here. Dorgon's Domain, due to commenting in the chat, finally followed us. Thanks, Taylor, we appreciate it. Taylor Howie followed us as well.
I know Taylor!
Yay!
Yay! Hi, Taylor!
And the Vyre, TheVyre. I thought for a second it was like a play on there, YVR.
Oh!
But it's just, I think, the Vyre.
Oh, weird.
Oh, I know them.
Heavier.
The wire with you?
No.
I genuinely know
vampire
Taylor.
accent. The
Taylor,
Vire.
if you're still watching, thank you.
Yeah.
He's really nice.
But yeah, so awesome session this week, guys. You guys did super great. I'm super happy that things came out really well, and I'm
It could have
excited.
gone really bad for us.
Yeah.
We get to leave.
You're about to find out how bad it could have gone for you. So,
Oh, you're
thanks everybody
keeping
for
this
watching.
on camera to tell
No,
everyone.
off.
Fuck
Fuck
no.
off.
Yeah.
Also, Amanda, thank you so much for having the stress release thing, because I was huffing it at one point.
I was too.
Yeah, it was like...
Yep.
Ugh.
Bye, Dad.
All right.
Alright.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
We'll see
Jesse's
you
dad.
in 1 week.
Namaste.